Welcome to HOJO Radio. Our next broadcast was based on a comic book character created in 1941. He made his radio debut in 1943 and ran until 1953. Relax, folks, relax for the adventures of Archie Andrews, right here on HOJO Radio.
Hello?
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Oh, relax, Archie. Relax.
Yes, and you relax too, folks, if you can, because here he is again, right out of the pages of Archie Comics magazine with all his gang. Well, it's Saturday afternoon as we look in on the Andrews home in Riverdale. We find Mr. Andrews seated in the living room, happily reading his paper.
As you came to you.
Hi, Dad.
Oh, hello, son. Hello, son.
Dad, could I have the comics, please?
The what? Oh, comics. No, Archie, you certainly may not.
Gee whiz. Well, how about the sports section, huh? Sports section.
No, Archie, no. You cannot have the sports section or the comic section or any other section. I'm reading this paper, and you can't have any of it. Now, is that clear?
Gee whiz, yes, Dad.
Yes. Archie, for Pete's sakes, what are you doing down there on the floor?
I thought I might be able to see the front page from down here.
Oh, good grief, Archie, get up off the floor.
Yes, Dad.
Haven't you anything better to do than heckle me while I'm trying to read this paper? Why don't you call up Veronica?
I have nothing to talk to her about.
Well, there must be something you can do. Some place you'd like to go.
Well, I would like to go to the movies.
Fine. Here's $1. Go ahead. Go to the movies. Stay and see it twice.
Oh, gee whiz, thanks, Dad. I will. Thanks a million. See you later, Dad.
Yes. Oh, boy, can really
Fred,
annoy.
are you busy right now?
Oh, me. What is it, dear?
Run next door and borrow 2 onions. I need them for dinner.
But Mary, it's a long time until dinner.
I know it, but just do what I say.
I want to go and get... all right, Mary. All right, I'll go. But I don't know why you have to borrow things all the time. Yes, 2 onions for dinner.
That man can really be... Oh, now, who can that be? Mm-hmm. Hello?
Mrs. Andrews?
Yes?
This is Genevieve Lodge.
Well, Mrs. Lodge, hello.
Yes. Mrs. Andrews, I wanted to talk to you about the Red Cross. As you know, the Red Cross Fund is conducting its drive all this month.
Yes?
And they do such wonderful work. Their service to veterans, and to the armed forces, and to communities in time of disaster, and so on. And so
Of course, Mrs. Lodge. Everyone knows the wonderful work of the Red Cross.
Well, tonight I'm giving a big party for the benefit of the Red Cross.
A party?
Yes, with refreshments and hors d'oeuvre and everything, and I'm charging admission with all the money to go to the Red Cross.
Well, that's a wonderful idea, Mrs. Lodge.
Yes, isn't it? But I do so want it to be a glorious success, and I was wondering whether your husband would perform tonight.
Perform?
Yes, he tells such wonderfully funny stories, and I'd love him to tell them tonight.
Oh, I see. Why, of course, Fred will be glad to.
How wonderful, my dear. Simply wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll see you tonight.
We'll be there.
Bye.
Goodbye. Oh, dear. I hope Fred doesn't mind. Maybe I should...
Here are your onions.
Oh, thank you, dear. But, Fred, Mrs. Lodge just called.
Well, what about it?
Well, she's giving a benefit party for the Red Cross tonight.
Oh, you didn't say we'd go, did you?
Fred, that's no way to talk.
Now, Mary, I have nothing against the Red Cross. In fact, I have already given them one contribution, and I'm going to send them another check before the month is over. But those parties of Mrs. Lodge's,
Now,
a
Fred,
bunch of stuffy people and stale hors d'oeuvre that no one can eat.
Yes, but dear,
and that Mrs. Lodge just fawning all over everybody. Oh, my dear. Yes, my dear. How are you, my darling? Mary, I am not going to that party.
But, Fred, she asked if you would tell your joke.
I don't care what she tell my jokes? Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, Mary, there's nothing I'd rather do than go to Mrs. Lodge's party tonight. Dear, I've finally got my routine all set for the party. Would you listen to it, dear? I want to get your reaction to the...
Why, of course, dear. Go right ahead.
Yes. Well, I thought I would begin by...
Well, go on. Go on, I'm listening.
Oh, all right, dear. I thought you were busy. I thought I would begin...
Well... Go ahead.
Mary, I would go ahead if you would stop chopping those confounded onions for just 1 minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Go ahead. You have my undivided attention.
All right, dear. All right. Now, tonight at that party, I'll make a few introductory remarks, and then I'll lead into my first joke.
Yes?
I'll say, that reminds me of a funny story.
Oh, what reminds you of a funny story?
Something I will have said in the introduction, Mary.
Well, go ahead, dear.
All right. Now, I'll say, that reminds me of a funny story. A story of an old maid who finally married an X-ray specialist because he
was the only one who ever saw anything in her.
Anything in her. Mary, what did you say?
I said because he was the only one who ever saw anything in her.
But I was going to say that, Mary. That's my... Mary, don't ever do that when someone's trying to tell a joke. It upsets people. It frustrates them, confuses them.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
Bet half the nervous people in this country got that way just from not being allowed to tell the last lines of jokes.
I said I'm sorry, dear. I won't interrupt
Terrible
again.
Thing. All right, dear. All right. So just see that you don't. Not nice. Now, after I tell this joke about the X-ray specialist, then I have a very funny story about the lightning bug who got caught in the lawnmower.
Oh, that must be a new one, dear. How does it go?
Well, first of all, I say, do you know what the lightning bug said when he got caught in the lawnmower? No. Well, he said, I want... the lightning bug said... No.
Oh, Fred, go ahead. What did the lightning bug say?
Well, the lightning bug said when he got... Oh, great. I can't tell jokes with that going on. Is that Archie back from that movie already?
Well, he must be.
Archie! Archie!
Calling me, Dad?
Yes, come in here.
Okay, Dad. No. Well, see me no more. When I go to that
stop
one...
that infernal singing.
Oh, gee, Dad, that's just how the guy did it in the picture. He said, 20, how I love you,
I
now I love
do not
you.
care how the guy did it in the picture. Be quiet.
Well, gee, I'm sorry, Dad.
Fred, the boy was only singing.
I know that, and I have no objections to singing as such. But, Archie, you never think of anyone but yourself. You come in here singing at the top of your lungs with no thought of whether somebody might be busy or sick or dying, for that matter. 20, gee, I love you, how I love you, my dear. Oh, just terrible.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Well, hereafter, show a little consideration for others.
Yes, Dad.
You are not a child anymore.
Yes, Dad, I know.
So if you expect to... Archie, are you crying?
Well, yes, Dad, but it doesn't matter. It's only...
Fred, you see? I told you you're too harsh with a boy.
Mary, I didn't. What did I say to make him cry?
But
Well, he's crying, isn't he?
But, Mom,
Fred, I think you should absolutely apologize to the boy.
Apologize? Well, all right, Mary, I will. Archie, son, I'm sorry. Well, will you accept your poor old dad's apology?
I accept your apology, Dad.
Fine. And what intonation are you still crying about? I said I'm sorry.
Well, that's just it, Dad. I wasn't crying because of anything you said. There must be onions around here someplace.
Oh, for pity's sake. I've been chopping onions in this bowl. Is that what's making you cry?
Sure, Mom. You know how sensitive I am to onions.
Great. Mary, I told you that I did not say anything to make that boy cry.
Fred, I'm sorry.
Well, sure, I feel fine.
Oh, yes, you sound fine. Look, if you can't stand onions, go into the other room, Archie, but just be quiet.
Okay, Dad, I'm going. I sure can't stand those onions.
Well, certainly glad that's over. Well, Mary, perhaps now I can tell you what the lightning bug said when he got caught in the lawnmower.
Well, yes, Fred. Go right ahead.
Well, when the lightning bug got caught in the lawnmower, he said, delighted, no end.
Fred, that's very funny. Very, very funny.
Mary, are you crying at my joke?
No, Fred, your joke is all right. I guess these onions are getting me, too.
Oh, fine. Well, I guess I'll go someplace else and rehearse. Even Jack Benny couldn't be funny around here.
Boy, this fresh air sure feels good. Funny thing how I just get near an onion and I go all to pieces. I wonder...
Hi, Archie.
She was Jughead.
What'd you expect? Uncle Remus?
Gee, Jug, I wish you'd been here a little while ago. I just saw a swell picture all about Al Jolson.
Oh, I heard that was pretty good.
Yeah, but I can do as good as that guy, I bet you.
Oh, sure.
Better, in fact. You want to hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, listen to this. Mommy, my little mommy, the sun shines east, the sun shines west, but I've got to learn where the sun shines best. Mommy, Mommy, Jughead.
Huh?
Who is singing this anyway?
I just joined in a little.
Well, don't. I'm trying to show you how I would do that song.
Okay.
All right, now I'll try another one. Now listen. Swanee, now I love you, my dear old Swanee. I give the world to thee, and Jughead.
Huh?
Jughead, just what do you think you're doing?
Singing.
Jug, it so happens that I'm trying to show you how I can imitate Larry Parks imitating Al Jolson.
Well, I'm just imitating Archie Andrews, imitating Larry Parks, imitating Al Jolson.
I know it. But can't you even keep quiet for just a minute?
Why? I like to sing.
Jug, you can sing all you want to, but right now I
You
just
said I should keep quiet.
Well, that doesn't mean you
Well,
can't
how can
sing.
I keep quiet and still sing?
But if you didn't talk so much,
Who
I'd explain you.
talks so
I'm trying to
much?
do a
I'm
little.
not the only one
I'm
talking.
trying to
Well, you're
look.
the
I'm
one
trying to
talking.
imitate Al
What's
Jolson.
the matter?
All you have to do is give me a little chance.
What are you two arguing about?
Huh? Oh, hello, Betty. Where did you come from?
I saw you from my house, so I came out. What's the big argument?
Archie told me I couldn't sing.
I did not, Jug. I just asked you to listen to me sing.
Since when can you sing?
I can sing a lot better than you.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I certainly can. All you have to...
Wait a minute. Since when can either of you sing?
Well, that's just the point, Betty. I just wanted to show Jughead I can imitate Al Jolson as good as anyone.
You, Archie?
Sure, you want to hear me?
Well, I should know better, but go ahead.
Okay, listen. There's a rainbow round my shoulder, and a sky of blue above. Now the sun shines bright, the world's all right, 'cause I'm in love. There, Betty, how did you like that?
Oh, golly, Archie, that was awfully nice. Did you mean it?
Mean what?
The song. The part about your being in love.
Oh, never mind what the song said. What about my imitation of Al Jolson? Did you...
Oh, boy, there's Veronica.
Hi, Judd. Hi, Betty. Hi, Veronica.
Hi.
Hello, Archie. Hi, y'all. Archie-kin. I'm looking forward to our date tonight, Archie. Dear.
Well...
Even if you are wasting your time with Betty right now. Wasting his time. Wasting it. Well, if you're so smart, Miss Lodge, it just happens that Archie has been serenading me.
What?
Archie? Yes, he just sang me a love song.
But I was just...
Didn't he, Jughead?
Oh, sure.
Archie, is this true?
Oh, well, I was...
Of course it's true.
It sure is.
Well, I like that.
Oh, Veronica, you don't understand. I
He
can
sang,
explain...
the sun shines bright, the world's all right, 'cause I'm in love. Right to me, so there. Archie, did you?
He sure did.
Jug, be quiet. Veronica, I can
I'm
explain.
not the least bit interested in your explanations, Archie Andrews. If you're going to stand around on the street serenading every girl you meet, you can just go out with someone else tonight.
But Veronica! But Veronica!
Goodbye, Mr. Ray.
But Veronica, wait, Veronica! Oh, Veronica! Gee whiz.
Gee, she was pretty sore.
Oh, golly, Archie, I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to spoil your whole evening for you.
Oh, no, Betty, you didn't spoil my evening. Not at all. I've been looking forward to playing gin rummy with Jughead for a long time.
Fred, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be, dear. Well, is Archie going with us?
Well, I don't think so, dear. This morning he said he had a date with Veronica for tonight.
Veronica? Why, isn't she going to be at her own mother's party?
Evidently not. Well, let's go, dear.
All right, Mary. You know, something tells me we're going to have a very enjoyable evening at the lodges.
Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, so glad you got here.
Hello, Mrs. Lodge.
Are we terribly late? Oh, no, not at all. Dear Mrs. Hastings is playing. Come in and sit down.
Oh, Mary, good grief, listen to that.
Fred, be quiet. Now, sit right there, Mrs. Andrews. Oh, thank you. You sit there, Miss Andrews?
Thank you, Mrs.
Yes.
Lodge. Oh.
Fred.
I didn't say anything, dear.
Well, stop fidgeting.
Thank heaven for that. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I thought that you... I thought it was... Well, I am, dear.
Lovely, simply lovely. Great applaud.
Why? Lovely. It was wonderful. Mary, don't overdo it. She's liable to play an encore.
Miss Hastings, dear girl, that was delightful. Simply delightful. Yes, indeed. Now, everyone. Now, on behalf of the Red Cross, for whom this gathering is being held, I thank you. And now, pardon me a moment. I see what our next bit of entertainment will be.
Fred, she's coming over here.
Oh, yes. Oh, and Mr. Andrews.
Mrs. Lodge, that was a very lovely number. Very lovely, yes, lovely.
Oh, I've heard better.
Mother. Oh, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Andrews.
Hello, dear.
Hello, Veronica.
Mother, some of the guests are leaving.
Oh, my goodness, I was afraid of that. Mr. Andrews, do something before this party dies on its feet.
Yes, of course.
My goodness, if any more people leave, we won't get any money at all for the Red Cross. Please tell your jokes.
All right, Mrs. Lodge, I'll do my best.
Oh, fine. Well, I'll introduce you before it's too late.
Thank you.
Quiet! Quiet, everyone! Everyone! Quiet! Now, dear friends, our next bit of entertainment will come from a man you all know well. A man who has deservedly won a reputation for his quick wit and sense of humor. And who will now tell us some of his amusing stories. Mr. Fred Andrews.
Good luck, dear.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Mrs. Lodge, for that very flattering introduction. You read it just the way I wrote it. For a while there, I thought you weren't going to introduce me at all. I thought I was going to be a wallflower tonight. Yeah, which reminds me of a very funny story that I just heard about an old maid who had tried to find a husband for many years. Well, finally she succeeded in getting someone to marry her, an X-ray specialist. It seems that he was the only... It seems that this X-ray specialist was the only one who could see...
Mr. Andrews, forgive me for interrupting you, but we can't hear you very well with that horrible noise.
I'm not surprised. I can't hear myself.
What on earth can it be? Well, I've no idea.
Well, it seems to have stopped now.
Yes, it has stopped. Continue, Mr. Andrews. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right. Well, this X-ray...
Oh, good heavens, there it goes again.
Mary, can that be...
It's out in the garden. Fred, I don't know. I never heard anything like that.
Well, I did, just today.
Fred, where are you going?
To put a stop to that racket. Archie! Archie!
No. Huh? Somebody called me?
I certainly did. Archie, you come in here.
Gee whiz, is that you, Dad?
Yes, it certainly is, young man.
Gee, Dad, what are you doing here? I was... Oh, gee. Hello, everybody.
Hello, young man.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, for Pete's sakes, Jughead.
Who'd you expect? Enrico Caruso?
Forsyth, be quiet. Archie, just what were you doing out in the garden?
Well, gee, Mrs. Lodge, I didn't know you were having a party.
Well, we were, till you started that noise.
Gee, I'm sorry,
Oh, Mother dear, that wasn't noise. That was singing.
What?
Oh, yes, Mother. Archie is quite a singer. In fact, you ought to have him sing for the party.
Yeah, the one?
Oh, but I couldn't...
Sing? Say, Archie, do you sing?
Who, me? Oh, no, Mrs. Lodge.
Archie, I insist. Mother, you've never heard anything like it.
Oh, but I couldn't...
I was just telling my
Veronica,
story.
dear, that's a wonderful idea. A little popular music is just what we need to liven things up.
But, Mrs. Lodge, what about my jokes?
A little later, Mr. Andrews. Not right now. Mrs. Hastings. Mrs. Hastings, dear girl, would you...
Archie, you and I are going to have a long, long talk.
Gee, Dad, how did I know this would happen?
Now, what are you going to sing, Archie?
Well, since this is for the Red Cross, I think an appropriate tune would be Sonny Boy.
Oh.
It wasn't in the picture, Mrs. Lodge, but it's Al Jolson's greatest song.
Oh, well, now that's fine. Now, Mrs. Hastings, do you...
Archie, you are going to make a fool of yourself?
Fred, it's too late now.
Now, everyone. Archie Andrews will now sing Sonny Boy. Archie, just stand right near that table there.
All right, Mrs. Lodge. Ready when you are, Mrs. Hastings. Climb upon my knee, sonny boy. You are only 3, sonny boy. You've no way of knowing, there's no way of showing what you mean to me, sonny boy. When there are gray skies I don't mind those gray skies. You make them blue, sunny boy. All friends may forsake me. Let them all forsake me. You'll pull me through, sunny boy. You're sent from heaven, and I know your worth. You've made a heaven for me, right here on earth, and then the angels grew lonely. They took you 'cause they were so lonely. Now I'm lonely too. Sunny boy.
My goodness, that was wonderful, wonderful. Now, Archie, you were superb. Such emotion.
Archie, you were sensational. So moving.
Darling, you were great.
Yes, son, you were terrific.
Oh, it wasn't anything.
And Archie, I apologize for thinking you couldn't sing. You deserve a great big kiss.
I apologize, too, son. You were fine.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, dear.
Thanks, Mom.
Now, excuse me a moment, Archie. This is the psychological moment to take up another Red Cross collection. Now, people, I want all of you to show your appreciation for
I had no idea I'd be such a hit.
Well, neither did I, son. Why, you almost had me in tears the way you sang that. Why didn't you tell your mother and me, Archie, about this secret talent?
Talent? Dad, that wasn't talent.
What?
Well, sure, you see that table I was standing next to?
You mean the one with the sandwiches and the hors d'oeuvre?
Sure, Dad. Onions. Remember?
Oh, onions. Onions?
Archie,
You mean
not
those
so
onions
loud.
on the
Nobody
table
knows
and
about
back
it.
if
She
you
was
were what
laughing.
caused all the tears?
So we conclude another chapter of the adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Carl Jampel and based on the copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie is played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Harlan Stone. This program is directed by Kenneth McGregor. Listen next week for more of the merry adventures of Archie Andrews.
HOJO Radio. We're your old-time radio headquarters. Stay tuned.
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Oh, relax, Archie. Relax.
Yes, here he is again, the youngster millions of readers of Archie Comics magazine know and love so well. Archie Andrews and all his gang. Well, it's evening as we look in on the Andrews home, an especially quiet and peaceful evening. We find the entire family sitting in the living room. Mr. Andrews is reading his newspaper.
So the president says it.
Mrs. Andrews is doing some sewing. And the pride and joy of the Andrews family, our boy Archie, is reading a comic book. Yes, all is indeed peaceful and quiet in Riverdale tonight. But for how long? Well...
Fred. Fred?
Yes, dear?
What time is it?
Time? Oh, it's exactly... It's Archie. Archie.
Yes, Dad?
I am trying to tell your mother the time, so if you must laugh, do it more quietly, please.
Oh, okay, Dad.
Mary, it's exactly... Oh, fine. Archie,
Okay, Dad, okay.
Okay. Mary, it's exactly 9 o'clock. Why?
Oh, no reason, dear. Just happened to wonder what time it is.
Oh, fine.
Oh, gee, that was a swell story in this comic book. Dad,
Yes, Archie?
what time is it?
Oh, great. Archie, I just told your mother the time. Didn't you hear me?
Oh, no, Dad, I was reading.
Oh, well, it's 9 o'clock.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
Only 9 o'clock. Boy, it sure feels later than that. Oh, I'm getting sleepy.
Archie, cover your mouth when you yawn.
Oh, yes, Mom. Oh, well, I guess I'm getting sleepy, too.
For Pete's sake, Archie, what are you yawning about?
Oh, gee whiz, Dad, I can't help it if I have to yawn.
All right, but do it more quietly, please.
Yes, Dad.
Mary, what are you yawning about?
Oh, I can't help it, dear. Seeing Archie yawn makes me yawn.
Oh, fine. Well, he isn't yawning. Archie, will you please stop that?
Oh, gee whiz, Dad. Seeing Mom yawn makes me yawn.
Oh, fine. First you yawn, so your mother yawns, then you yawn. That grief you got me doing it now.
Oh, it's making me do it.
Me too. Now, just a minute. Now, let's put a stop to this merry-go-round once and for all. Everybody stop yawning.
Yes, dear.
Yes, Dad.
Okay. Archie.
Okay, Dad, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but the trouble is, Dad, that I don't have anything to do.
Well, you haven't anything to do and you're sleepy. Why don't you go to bed?
Go to bed?
Yes, go to bed. A good night's sleep for a change wouldn't hurt you. In fact, we all ought to go to bed.
But, Dad, who ever heard of going to bed at 9 o'clock?
And what is so early about 9 o'clock? You know, if you must know, young man, it so happens that when I was a boy, we went to bed with the cows and got up with the roosters.
Gee, wasn't it uncomfortable?
It certainly was. You know what? Archie, it was not uncomfortable. I mean, that was just a way of saying we went to bed at sundown and got up at sunrise.
Gee, you did?
Yes, we did. And did it hurt us?
Well.
What?
Oh, I say, that's what makes you look so well.
Yes, you're darn right. Best thing in the world for people is to get a good night's sleep. Yes, sir. In fact, we'll all go to bed right now.
But, Dad, I'm not tired.
Archie,
Oh, okay, Dad, okay. So we'll go to bed early.
Shall I turn out the light, Fred?
Just a moment, dear. Just a moment. As soon as I get my slippers off and get into bed.
Fred, what was that?
I knocked the book off the night table.
Oh, all right. Sounded like you were wearing 3 slippers.
3 slippers? Now, Mary, who ever heard of a silly thing
Never
like that?
mind,
wearing
dear.
3 slippers?
Can I turn off the lights now?
Yes, dear.
All right. Good night, dear.
Good night, dear.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad.
Good night, son.
Good night, dear.
Yes, sir. This was a great idea.
Yes, dear.
Nothing like going to bed early.
Yes, dear.
Good night's rest does a man a world of good.
Yes, dear.
Wake up feeling fresh and chipper.
Fred.
Huh?
If we're going to sleep, let's go to sleep instead of talking about it all night.
Oh, yes, dear. Yes, you're right. Good night, dear.
Good night.
Gee whiz.
Oh, great.
Archie, what's the matter?
I can't sleep.
Archie, of course you can't sleep. You've only been in bed for half a minute.
I know, but I'm uncomfortable in there. The room is so hot.
Well, for pity's sake, open the window if it's too hot in your room.
Gee whiz, I never thought of that.
Oh, great.
I'll go open the window right now. I never thought of that.
Mary, sometimes that boy acts like he was about
Never mind, dear. Good night.
Good night, dear. Oh, good grief. What was that?
Archie opening his window.
Oh. For a minute, I thought he fell out of bed and broke his...
He didn't fall out of bed. He just opened the window like we told him to.
Okay. But does he have to slam it open like he was trying to tear the house apart? Our windows are built so they slide open gently, you know.
Fred,
He's going to break the windows one of these days if he keeps that up.
Fred, all right. You can talk to him about it in the morning, but let's get to sleep.
All right, dear. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Gee whiz.
Oh, fine. Archie, what now?
I still can't sleep.
Well, Archie, is it still hot in that room with the window wide open?
No, it's too cold.
1, 2, 3, 4. Archie.
Yes, Dad?
Archie, I have a great idea of how to solve the problem of your cold room.
Well, yes, Dad.
Of course, I admit that it's a rather difficult, unusual, and highly original plan, but I think you're capable of executing it.
Yes, Dad.
Close the window.
Gee whiz, Dad, I thought of that, but then it'll get too hot again.
Archie, look.
Huh?
The room was hot. But now that you've opened that window wide, you've cooled off the entire house. Besides, I lowered the heat for the night when we came upstairs, so it won't get hot again and your room should be comfortable.
Oh, okay, Dad. I'll go close the window now.
Oh.
Good night, Dad. Good night, Mom.
Mary, that boy, he can be the most...
Fred, let's not spend all night arguing about Archie. Boys are boys. I'll go to sleep.
All right, dear. All right. Oh, good night.
Good night.
Oh, good grief. Mary, did you hear that?
Fred,
What is that boy trying to do? Rip the window right out of the frame?
Fred,
Why doesn't he just take a hammer and smash it if that's what he wants to do?
All right, Fred. You should have told him about opening and closing the window gently.
Should have told?
Besides, he's been slamming the window that way for years and he hasn't broken it yet.
Oh, me, all right, Mary, all right. Let's forget the whole thing before my blood pressure boils over. Good night.
Good night.
Gee whiz.
Now what's the matter? Is your room too lukewarm?
Gee whiz, no, Dad. My room's just fine.
Then why don't you stay there?
Because this darn old alarm clock is keeping me awake.
Oh, fine. Archie, you have had that alarm clock for 10 years. Why does it suddenly bother you tonight?
I don't know. It seems louder tonight. Just listen to that.
Archie, if the clock's bothering you, leave it in here and I'll wake you in the morning.
Oh, okay, Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Put it on the dressing table.
Okay. There.
All right, dear.
Thanks, Mom. I think I can sleep. Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad.
Good night, dear.
Good night. Oh, Mary,
Mom!
I don't... Oh, no.
Yes, dear?
Don't forget to wake me.
I
Oh,
won't.
Mary, I don't... Archie, will you please go to sleep?
Okay, Dad, okay.
Okay. Oh, Mary, I don't...
Good night.
Good night. Oh. Mary, I don't know
Fred,
what...
I absolutely refuse to hear a word.
Yes, but
the boy isn't trying to be difficult.
Yes, but-
he's just too wide awake at this hour.
but
And going to bed so early was your idea.
But
and getting all upset over Archie isn't helping anything. Now, for pity's sake, let's get to sleep.
All right, Mary, all right. I promise not to say another word. Good night.
Good night.
Mary,
Yes, dear?
you know, that clock is loud.
Fred, ignore it.
Mary, how can you ignore that? Just listen to that thing.
Well, Fred, if it bothers you that much, do something with it.
All right, I will. I'll take it back to Archie's room.
Oh, Fred, no, then he won't be able to sleep.
Well, what else could I do with this frustrated time bomb?
Well, put it in a drawer.
Drawer?
Yes, then we won't hear it. Put it in the bottom drawer of the bureau. That's empty.
Oh, all right, dear. That's a good idea. All right. That's better. Maybe now we can get some sleep.
Yes, dear. Good night.
Good night. Oh, good grief. What's that?
Oh, dear. The clock. Making more noise than it did before.
Oh, great. Mary, that noise will drive me out of my mind in no time. I take it out of that drawer. goodness. There. That's better than that tom-tom effect. Sure. Well, now what'll I do with it?
Well, Fred, just put it in the clothes closet and close the door. That should muffle it.
Good idea. I'll try it. Well, it worked. And that settles the problem of the noisy alarm clock. Now maybe we can get to sleep.
Yes, dear.
Sure.
Good night.
Good night, dear. Oh, good grief. The clock. I must have hit the alarm button.
Hurry, Fred. Shut it off.
Got it. Oh, Mary, how...
What was that?
Archie, that was just the alarm on your clock. It happened to go off.
Oh, gee, I started to doze off there for a minute, and when I heard the alarm, I thought it was morning already.
Archie, it isn't morning, so go back to bed, and believe me, I'm very sorry it woke you.
Oh, that's okay, Dad. Good night.
Good night. Oh, Mary, I tell you, I've never seen anything like this. One thing after
Fred,
another.
please stop grumbling and let's get to sleep.
Mary, that's exactly what I would like nothing better than.
What?
Nothing, dear, nothing. Good night.
Good night.
Dad.
Oh, no, I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe it.
Fred, if you hadn't set that alarm off, he'd be sound asleep by this time.
Oh, me. What is it now, Archie?
Well, nothing, Dad, but I just remembered I forgot to brush my teeth before I went to bed.
Oh, good heavens. Archie, what do you want me to do? Brush them for you?
Gee whiz, no, Dad. I only thought I should...
Archie, I don't care what you thought. Go brush your teeth. Comb them, too, for all I care.
Gee whiz, Dad, that's silly. Who ever heard of combing your teeth?
Archie,
Okay, Dad, okay. It'll just take me a minute, that's all.
Oh, Mary, have you ever in all your life heard of anything like this?
Fred, you can't blame the boy. All his life he's taught him to brush his teeth morning and night. Now, what else do you expect?
Some sleep, Mary. I expect some sleep.
You'll get some, dear. This can't go on all night.
How do you know?
Oh, Fred, stop being silly and get to sleep.
Yes, dear. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, good grief.
Archie, what was that?
I dropped the bathroom glass.
Oh, great. Archie, do you have to get in all the trouble in the world at this time of the night?
Well, gee whiz, Dad, I didn't mean to, but my hands were wet, and when I went to...
Archie, I don't care. I don't care for the gruesome details of the rise and the fall of our bathroom glass. Just go pick up the pieces and go to sleep.
And don't cut yourself, dear.
Okay, Mom, I won't.
His hands were wet, and it slipped
Fred,
out of the
forget
table.
it.
But, Mary, you act as if staying awake was my idea. I came up here to go to sleep. Nothing.
Fred, I said forget it.
All right, dear. It's forgotten.
Okay, Mom, I got all the glass picked up, and I wiped the floor with a rag to be sure to get all the little pieces.
All right, dear. That's fine. Good night.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
Fred. Fred, what's that?
What's what?
A noise.
What noise?
That noise. Sounds like water dripping.
Mary, I don't hear... Oh, good grief. It is water dripping.
Oh, dear. Archie left the water in the bathroom dripping. Fred, you'll have to go shut off the faucet.
Shut up. Look, Mary, Archie left it dripping. Let him go and shut it off.
Fred, the boy's in bed now. Let him stay there.
All right, dear, all right. I'll go shut off the faucet. But so help me, Hannah, this is the last time I'm getting out of bed tonight.
That man, I don't know what...
Fred, what is it?
My foot! My
Fred,
foot!
what's the matter? What happened?
I don't know. I cut my foot.
What happened?
You cut your foot.
Mary, must have been a piece of glass left on the floor.
Gee whiz, I thought I got it all picked up.
Serves you right for walking around barefooted.
Mary, is this any time for lectures when I'm wounded and dying?
You're not wounded and dying. Here, let me see your foot.
Here.
Oh, it's just a little tiny scratch.
Yeah, but it's an awful big foot.
Archie, leave my big feet out of this. Mary, is the glass still in it?
Yes, dear. Just a tiny sliver. I'll take it right out, though. There. How's that?
Well, it's better. Is it bleeding, Mary?
No, dear, but I suppose we'd better put some iodine on it anyway. Archie, get the iodine out of the medicine cabinet.
Yes, ma'am. Look out, Dad, so I can get at the cabinet.
Oh, never mind, Archie. I'll get it myself.
Gee. Dropped a few things, didn't you?
Archie,
Fred Andrews, what have you done?
Mary, I didn't do it.
Look at that.
Yes, but Mary,
Just
I'm
look
sorry.
at my iodine, Mercurochrome, toothpaste, cold cream, hair tonic, cough syrup, and corn pads.
Mary,
rubbing alcohol, witch hazel, mineral oil, lipstick, and nose drops.
Mary, please don't
Mascara, Band-Aid, shaving lotion, nail polish, aspirin, and Vaseline.
Mary, I wish...
Salt, razor blades, bicarbonate, sand, oil, vitamin pills, cod liver oil.
Would you mind telling me just what you hope to gain by reciting a whole catalog of drug supplies?
Well,
I know it's an awful mess, dear, but it was an accident and I couldn't help it and I apologize. And tomorrow I'll personally go down and buy out another drugstore for you.
Oh, yes, dear. But I suppose it's silly to get so upset. It's just that some of those jars and bottles have been in the family for years.
Yes, dear, and just like some of our relatives, they're not worth a thing. For Pete's sake, let's forget about it and get me out of this.
Get you out of this?
Yes, Mary. I'm standing here barefooted, remember? I don't dare move until they clean up all this broken glass.
Oh, dear.
Oh, gee whiz, that's right. You better not move an inch, Dad. You'll chop yourself to pieces.
I know that. But quit standing there crying over spilled iodine.
Yes, dear. Just stay right there, Fred. Archie, come with me.
Okay, Mom.
You get a broom out of the broom closet and then go up and sweep up all that broken glass. I'm going down to the basement and get a bucket of hot water and soap to mop up all that stuff before it stains the floor up there.
Yeah, you better, Mom.
And you better take a dustpan up, too, Archie.
Okay, Mom, I will. Now, let's see now. Vacuum, carpets. Here's the broom and the dustpan.
Archie, hurry! I can't stand here all night.
Oh, I'm coming, Dad. I'll be there. Oh, gee whiz, now who can that be at a time like this? Hello.
Hello, Archie. Hi, y'all, Archiekin. It's awful good to hear your voice, Archie. Dear.
Archie!
Gee, Veronica, it's good to hear your voice, too.
Oh, Archie, you say the sweetest thing.
Only to you, Veronica.
Oh, Archie.
But tell me, Veronica, how come you're calling at this hour?
Mary!
This hour? Archie, it's only a little after 9 o'clock.
Oh, gee whiz, that's right. I forgot we went to bed early.
Went to bed? You don't mean you were asleep?
Oh, no, Veronica. Not asleep yet. But we've been trying to get to sleep.
Archie!
Oh, I'm sorry I disturbed you, Archie.
Gee, Veronica, you didn't disturb me. I'm always glad to hear from you.
Well, the reason I called, Archie...
Yes?
Well, I don't have anything to do tonight, and I thought we might go for a walk or something.
Mary!
Gee whiz, you did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, gee, I wish I'd known that. I'd never have gone to bed so early.
Archie!
But you can't get out now.
Gee whiz, no, Veronica. I'm in my pajamas.
Mary!
Oh, that's a shame, Archie. I was looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, me too. But how about tomorrow night? We'll go to a movie or something.
Oh, I'd love to do that, Archie.
Archie!
Okay, it's a date.
Fine. Well, you better get back to bed, Archie.
Okay, Veronica, and thanks for calling.
Mary!
Oh, that's all right. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams to you, Veronica.
Archie!
Nighty-night.
Nighty-night.
Mary!
Bye now.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that Veronica. What a girl.
Archie, you
what
got the glass swept up?
Huh? Oh, the glass. Gee whiz, Mom, I forgot all about it.
Forgot about it?
Yeah, the phone rang as I was going up, and it was Veronica. And I forgot all about Dad waiting up there.
Oh, for pity's sake. Archie, you mean your father's been standing there all this time?
Somebody. Anybody. Gee whiz, I guess so, Mom.
Oh, dear. Archie, give me that broom. I'll sweep over that glass myself. You bring up that scrub bucket. Fred, I'm coming.
Okay, Mom, but I was going to sweep up the glass. Honest, I was. Gee whiz, what's everybody so excited about? Yeah, I might as well bring this bucket up. Gee whiz, now what? Gee whiz, Jughead. What'd you expect, Sleeping Beauty? No, Jughead, I didn't expect Sleeping Beauty or you either. What are you doing here?
I just got out of the movies and it was such a swell picture I thought I'd stop by and tell you about it.
Well, Jughead...
You ought to go see it.
Well, Jughead...
It's all about good guys and bad guys and shooting.
Oh, it got me, dang it. Will you please? I'm dying. Well, Jughead, don't do it. Jughead! Jug! Huh? Look, that sounds like a very interesting picture, but I don't want to hear about it right now. I'm trying
Why
to...
not?
Because I'm trying...
Don't you always tell me about the pictures you see?
Yes,
and
but
don't I always listen?
Yes,
a
but I'm...
fine friend you are, a fine friend.
Oh, me, Jughead, look. I can't stand here in the doorway arguing with you all night. Come in and I'll explain what the trouble is. Come on in.
Well, okay, but...
Jug, look out for that bucket! A fine thing! Gee whiz, Jughead, did you hurt yourself? Here.
No.
Get up there.
Is that a nice way to treat a friend?
Jug, I didn't do it on purpose.
Because I want to tell you about a movie, you have to douse me with a bucket of water?
Jug, I didn't...
Now look at me. Just look at me. Wet pants.
Jughead, look. I didn't push you, and I didn't want you to get your pants all wet. It was an accident. Now, for Pete's sake, don't just sit there yelling your head off.
But how am I going to go home in wet pants?
Jughead, you don't have to go home in wet pants. Take those pants off, and I'll lend you a pair of my slacks.
Well, okay.
Okay. Now, come on up as soon as you get them off, and I'll get the slacks for you.
Okay, but it's a fine thing. A fine thing.
Oh, boy, that Jughead.
Archie, what's been keeping you?
Mom, I had a little trouble with Jughead.
Archie, never mind, Jughead. I've got the glass swept up, and I want to scrub this floor, so hand me that bucket.
Okay, Mom, but I want to...
Archie, what happened to the soapy water I had in this bucket?
Mom, I'm trying to tell you we had a little accident.
Another accident?
Well, yes, Dad. You see, Jughead's downstairs.
Hello. Oh, hello, Jug... good grief, Jughead. Where are your pants?
Where are yours?
I left them on the night... Jughead! Never mind where my pants are. I'm wearing this nightshirt because I've been trying to go to sleep for the past half hour. But what are you doing running around here in your undershorts?
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you, Dad. Jug tripped over the bucket of water and got his pants all wet.
Oh, for pity's sake.
And am I cold?
Archie, let Jughead wear your gray slacks.
I am, Mom. I was just going to get them for him.
Well, they just came back from the tailor's and they're down in the hall closet. Jug, run down there and get them.
Gee whiz, okay. It's a fine thing when you come visiting a friend. He trips you with a bucket of water, and then he makes you come upstairs and then go downstairs. It's a fine thing.
Jughead, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you.
I was just talking to myself, Miss Andrews. Are those slacks in the front hall closet?
Yes, Jughead.
Okay. Fine thing. I have to... Gee whiz, now who can that be? Gee, Betty.
Hello, Jughead. What are you...
Oh! Jughead, where are your pants? Forgot all about that, Betty.
I'll answer the door, Jughead, if you get...
Oh, gee whiz, Betty.
Archie, what are you doing in your pajamas?
Oh, gee whiz, I forgot about my pajamas. Oh, Betty, I was...
Fred, Betty.
Oh, Mrs. Andrews, what are you doing in your bathrobe?
Betty, I was just getting ready to go to sleep. Anything so
What's
strange
going
about
on down here, anyway?
Mr. Andrews, what are you doing in that nightshirt?
Well, what's wrong with this nightshirt?
Oh, nothing, Mr. Andrews, but why is everybody undressed?
Now, Betty,
I'm not undressed. I just got my pants
Jughead,
wet.
let
We
me...
decided to go to bed early tonight.
Archie, would you
Fred,
please...
I have to finish cleaning up that floor.
Mary, will you...
Golly, I hope I didn't disturb you.
Betty,
Kid.
would you please... Jughead, Mary, Jughead, Archie, Jughead, Mary, Archie, Jughead, quiet. Quiet.
He got me all wet.
There. That's better. Now listen to me, all of you. This nonsense has gone far enough. Too far, in fact.
Yes, Mr. Andrews. Yes, dear.
Yes, Dad.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fine. Now, it so happens that half an hour ago, I decided to go to bed and get a good night's sleep for a change. But why couldn't I? Why?
Crumbs in the bed?
Yes, I had some crackers before. No, Jughead, be quiet.
Okay.
Okay. I couldn't get to bed because of Archie. Archie can't sleep. Archie says his room is awfully warm. It's too cold in his room. The clock is too loud. He wants to brush his teeth. He's got to talk to his friends on the phone. Then Jughead nearly drowns in a bucket of water.
Who nearly drowned? I can swim.
Jughead, be quiet.
Okay.
Now, I've had enough of this nonsense. I am going to sleep, and I'm going to sleep right now. Is that clear?
Yes, Mr. Andrews. Yes, dear.
Yes, Dad. Good night.
Oh, Jughead, get those pants on and go home right now.
Oh, I am.
And Betty, I don't know what you came over here for, and I hate to be so abrupt, but you'll just have to come back tomorrow.
All right, Mr. Andrews. Come on, Jug.
Okay, Betty. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Now, Mary, you'll scrub that floor in the morning.
Oh, but Fred, I have
No
to
buts about it, dear. We're going to go to sleep right now, and that's final. The floor will wait.
Yes, dear.
All right. And Archie, I want you to go straight to your room, get into bed, and stay there, you hear?
Yes, Dad.
I don't care whether your room is hot, cold, or indifferent. Go to sleep.
Yes, Dad.
All right. Good night.
Good night, Dad. Good night, Mom.
Good night, Archie.
Oh, now, Mary, let's go to sleep.
Yes, dear.
Oh, turn out the light.
Yes, dear.
No.
Good night.
Good night, dear. Well, Mary,
Yes, dear.
you know something?
Yes, dear.
I can't sleep. Is this room awfully warm?
Now, Fred Andrews, don't you
I
dare
just
start
asked you
that
the
all
room was
over
too
again.
warm, that's all. I can feel warm.
The Andrews will be back in just a moment. But first, there's an old Irish legend that if you bury a bit of gold in the dark of the moon, the little folk will add more to it, and years later you can dig up a fortune. Well, that's just a story. But there is a way to make your money grow, and without depending on leprechauns. United States security bonds pay back $4 for every 3 you put in, and in only 10 years. Money invested in savings bonds today means security tomorrow. Don't trust in magic to make your dollars grow. Buy a bond today. When you own United States security bonds, you own a piece of your country's future. And now, back to the Andrews. It's an hour later, and after a few little difficulties with Mr. Andrews opening and closing windows, everyone finally got to sleep.
Fred.
Yeah,
Fred, telephone's ringing. Fred, answer that.
Gee whiz, now who can be calling up at this hour? Huh?
Archie, you going to answer that?
Yes, Bob, I'll get it.
All right, dear.
That's a fine thing. Oh.
Hello, Archie. This is Jughead.
Jughead, what do you want?
Well, I just remembered that movie I thought you might want to go see. I never told you the name of it.
Oh, great, Jughead. Did you call just for that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, fine. All right, Jug. What's the name of it?
The Big Sleep.
Yes. Oh, no!
You've been listening to another chapter of The Adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Carl Tempel and based on the copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie was played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Harlan Stone. Mom and Dad Andrews are played by Alice Sherman and Arthur Cole, Veronica and Betty by Yvonne Mann and Rosemary Rice. This program is produced and directed by Kenneth McGregor. Listen next Saturday for more of the merry adventures of Archie Andrews.
Our next broadcast was a family sitcom launched on CBS in 1944. It starred a real-life family, the Nelsons, who consisted of Ozzie and his wife Harriet and their kids, David and Eric. We present to you Ozzie and Harriet, next on HOJO Radio.
America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers.
Yes, America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers. From Hollywood, International Silver Company, creators of 1847 Rogers Brothers silver plate, presents The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring young America's favorite couple, Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard. As we look in at the Nelson household at 1847 Rogers Road, the entire family, Ozzie, Harriet, 8-year-old David, and 5-year-old Ricky, are at the dinner table. As our scene opens, Harriet is giving David one of those David, eat your spinach looks as she says,
David, eat your spinach.
But I don't like spinach, Mother.
Now, David, let's not have any more of this nonsense. If you don't eat your spinach, you don't get any dessert, that's all.
What are we having for dessert, Mom?
Stewed prunes, but eat your spinach anyway.
Look at little Ricky. He's eating his.
Well, you can't go by him, Pop. He eats rubber bands, too.
David, will you please give me a chance to relax a little? I've got a pretty important evening ahead of me.
Is it something you can talk about in front of us kids?
Oh, sure, David. Your father's just been initiated into a secret organization tonight.
Gosh, another one, Pop?
That was exactly my reaction, David. It isn't enough that your father is a member of 6 or 7 lodges already. Now he has to
Please, Harriet. After all.
What's the name of this one, Pop?
David, the name of an organization is comparatively unimportant.
Hey, come to think of it, you didn't tell me either. What is the name of it?
Harriet, you judge an organization by its members, by its background, and by its good fellowship.
Ozzie, what is the name of the organization?
The Amiable and Antique Order of Prehistoric Monsters.
Goodness, dear, this is getting to be a little frightening. You're already an elk, a moose, and an eagle. Now you're going to be a monster.
Okay. Now tell me I've got a good head for it, and we'll all laugh.
Well, it certainly seems silly to go through some bruising initiation just to be greeted as a fellow monster.
Harriet, I don't know all the rules of the lodge, but I don't think I'm allowed to let you say that. Anyway, the new members are not called monsters. They're called unicorns.
Unicorn?
That's right, and if I have sufficient fortitude to withstand the rigorous ordeal of the initiation, I will emerge a full-fledged unicorn. Junior grade, of course.
What's a unicorn, Dad?
Well, it's an animal, and it looks like a horse has a horn coming out of its forehead.
And you want to be one?
No. David, we just use that as a symbol. Now, the unicorn is a mythical animal that was said to live in herds of about 40 or 50. They lived in caves, and they're now extinct.
50 animals in one cave. No wonder they...
David, eat your spinach.
You know, Harriet, I think you'd feel different about my joining this organization if you realized how much tradition there is behind it.
Oh, I don't really mind, dear.
For thousands of years, brother unicorns all over the world have been exchanging the hand clasp of good fellowship.
Do they have a secret handshake?
Oh, of course. I'll learn it tonight. Then when someone gives me the handshake, that's how I can tell he's a unicorn.
Isn't it easier to tell by the horn on his forehead?
We don't really wear horns on our foreheads, David.
Oh, that's good. I was wondering where you'd put your hat. Well, good luck, Pop.
He's a good little guy, all right.
The only thing that has me worried, dear, is aren't these initiations awfully physical? Don't they beat you with paddles and stuff?
Well, I suppose so, but whatever they have to offer, why, I'll just have to take it. If I'm to be accepted as a unicorn.
Well, you're the one who's doing it. I'll tell Gloria we finished dinner. Oh, Gloria! Gloria! Did you call me, Mrs. Nelson?
Yes, Gloria, I did. We're all finished dinner.
Going to the movies tonight.
I'm afraid not, Gloria. Now that we have a unicorn in the house.
I do my best, Mrs. Nelson. They must come from the house next door.
I think I'd better come to the rescue here, Gloria. To put it plain as possible, I'm going to join a lodge.
Oh, I see. A lodge what?
Now, Gloria, I'm becoming a member of a lodge. You know, sort of a club.
Oh, that's nice. I'm interested in joining clubs. What advantages does this club offer?
Gloria, all the members of this club are men.
What other advantages?
You don't understand, Gloria. This club is interested in men only.
Well, so am I.
No, Gloria, they don't allow women to join.
Oh, well, it's just as well. I already belong to 3 clubs, the Book of the Month, Automobile, and Lonely Hearts.
That must keep you plenty busy.
Oh, yes. My favorite is the Lonely Hearts.
Oh, have you met any interesting people there?
Oh, there's some very nice people who belong. Like, for instance, Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart?
Of course, he belongs under another name, Willie Hinkle.
Oh.
I was corresponding with him, and I didn't know he was really Humphrey Bogart until he sent me his picture.
Oh, Gloria, that couldn't be Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, yes, it was. Because he wanted my picture, so I sent him one of Lauren Bacall, and he married her.
Oh.
Well, Gloria, why didn't you send one of your own pictures to the Lonely Hearts Club?
Oh, I did. But they sent it right back. They said they weren't that lonely.
Gloria, I can tell by your conversation that the big interest in your life is romance.
Well, not exactly, Mr. Nelson. But just once, I would like to walk into a dance and have everybody say, "Who is it?" instead of, "What is it?" Well, I'll see you later.
Hey, you know, I'd better get moving or I'm going to miss this initiation completely.
Well, good luck, dear. And Ozzy, please be careful, won't you?
Okay, and get that worried look off your face. My insurance is all paid up. Oh, I wonder what they're really going to do to me at this initiation. Well, I'll find out in a little while, I guess.
Oh, hello, Mr. Nelson. Going somewhere?
Oh, hello there. Yes, I am, Emmy Lou.
But, Mr. Nelson, where are you going without Mrs. Nelson? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to, Mr. Nelson, and I'll understand. I just finished reading a beautiful story about a man who used to sneak out on his wife, but little did he know that she had a private detective following him.
Emmy Lou, I have bad news for you. Mrs. Nelson knows exactly where I'm going.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah, I hate to let you down like this, but I'm going over to the lodge hall. I'm being initiated tonight into the amiable and antique order of prehistoric monsters.
Oh, how positively thrilling. Mm-hmm. And do you know something? I think you'll make an absolutely fascinating monster.
Thanks, I guess.
Gosh. I hope they don't hurt you, Mr. Nelson.
Oh, I think I'll survive, Emmy Lou. I'm afraid Mrs. Nelson thinks it's going to be too tough for me, though. She doesn't seem to think I'm very rugged.
Oh, you must be mistaken. Every woman tries to believe that her husband is the bravest and strongest in the world. It's just that it's harder for Mrs. Nelson.
Well, I'll be seeing you, Emmy.
Knocketh on that door.
A brother who accompanieth a lowly worm who desireth the great honor of admittance into the amiable and antique order of prehistoric monsters.
Gosh, it's very impressive.
Silence!
I command that the door be opened by Brother Triceratops. is the lowly worm who desires to enter our sanctum?
Right here, Excellency.
Is it you who knocketh and desireth admittance? Is it you who knocketh and desireth admittance?
Well, yes, I guess so.
You understand, do you not, O worm, that you are begging to be admitted into an organization that was founded 194,201,945 years ago?
Yes, I understand it.
It is well. The amiable and antique order of prehistoric monsters was started when the first two hunks of animal life crawled out of the Paleozoic ooze and shook hands as they shared the first bit of dry mud on Earth. From this friendly meeting was formed this, the greatest of all organizations of brotherly friendship. Are you ready for our membership test?
Yes, sir.
Remove his blindfold, Brother Diplodocus.
It is as you have commanded, almighty Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Hello, fellas.
Silence!
Okay, I'm ready to be tested. Get the paddle out and begin using it. All I ask is that you throw a little water on when my pants start smoking.
Oh, no, that is not the way we test. Anyone can stand physical pain, particularly weak-minded person.
Uh-oh.
But we have something more difficult in mind.
Whatever it is, I'm ready to go through with it.
Good. We believe that our test will prepare you to continue happily through life, for it requires great fortitude, self-discipline, and above all, the ability to be amiable and agreeable. So your test is that you must agree with everything that everyone says until 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, that's a cinch.
Silence!
Excuse me.
I think you will find it difficult. Many men have taken the test, but very, very few have ever passed it. I, the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex, of the amiable and antique order of prehistoric monsters, have spoken. Okay, fellas, bring on the beer and sandwiches.
America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers.
American industry is getting into full stride. Soon all you dreamed about, all the things that make home more comfortable, more lovely, will be at your disposal. The miraculous television set, the new refrigerator with all its scientific innovations, and yes, the lovely silver plate you've so fervently desired, so patiently waited for, 1847 Rogers Brothers silver plate. And when it is again available, and that will be soon, you'll see that all we've been saying about 1847 Rogers Brothers is unmistakably true. You'll see that 1847 Rogers Brothers is America's finest silver plate. That there is nothing in silver plate that can surpass its rich, heartwarming luster, its exquisite and imaginative patterns. You'll see that the high-raised, deeply etched ornamentation of 1847 silver plate does give it a look of rich, solid silver. It's all we've told you about, all our many friends have told you about. Silver plate to enrich your home. 1847 Rogers Brothers silver plate. Presenting those four lovely singing stars, the famous King Sisters.
I would gather stars out of the blue for you, just for you. And I'll make a string of pearls out of the dew for you, just for you. Over the highway and over the street, carpets of clover I'll lay at your feet. Oh, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for gather stars out of the blue for you. And I'd make a string of pearls out of dew for you, for you. Over the highway and way over the street, great big fat carpets of clover I will lay at your feet. Oh, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for you. Oh, for you. I'll do it all for you.
Now, let's get back to Ozzie and Harriet and see what's going on at 1847 Rogers Road. Ozzie's initiation into the lodge last night was a little different than he anticipated. As our scene opens, he's talking on the telephone, checking his instructions with the chairman of the initiation committee.
What's that? Yes, sir. Okay, I'll repeat them back. As my final test of friendliness and congeniality, I am to be friendly to everyone and to agree absolutely with everything everybody says until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, thank you, sir. Goodbye. What a cinch. I can do this stand on my head. All I gotta do is agree with everything everybody says. Nothing to it.
Ozzie!
Coming, dear. Goodbye.
My goodness, what have you been doing? We're practically finished breakfast.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I've been talking on the phone. I can't tell you what it's about either. It's secret stuff regarding the lodge. And how is my beautiful wife this morning?
Well, Ozzie, you needn't be sarcastic just because I haven't done my hair yet.
But I wasn't... Well, yes, Harriet, dear. It's a lovely morning, isn't it?
Too cool for me.
Yes, come to think of it, it's cool, very cool, terribly cool.
Well, it isn't terribly cool.
No, of course not. Not terribly cool, just medium cool.
Care for some oatmeal?
No, I don't. Yes. I'd love some.
You'd love some. But, Ozzie, you said the other day you don't like oatmeal.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, I don't like oatmeal.
But if you really want some, here's a nice heaping bowl full. Morning, Mother. Morning, Dad.
Oh, good morning, David.
Hot out today, isn't it, Dad?
Yes, it is, David.
Ozzie, I thought you said it was cold.
It seems to be getting hot and cold and flashy. Did you have your breakfast, David?
Long ago. I just came in to ask you if I could buy a football.
Why, yes, David.
Gee, thanks. Oh, Ozzie, don't you think David is too young to play football?
He certainly is.
Oh, Dad, can't I play football?
Why, sure.
But, Ozzie, isn't it too dangerous for him to play football?
It sure is.
But I can buy the football.
Yes, David.
Ozzie, are you crazy?
Yes, dear.
I don't know if he's crazy or not, Mother, but I like him better this way.
Oh, what a kid. Well, there at last I finished the oatmeal.
Care for another helping?
Yes, dear.
Tell me, dear, did the initiation go well last night?
Oh, yes, fine, thanks.
Well, that's nice. Ozzie, I want to ask a little favor of you.
Uh-oh.
You remember that nice fur jacket that I looked at 2 months ago?
Oh, yes, I remember it very well.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Well, it was lovely, but do you remember the price tag, dear?
Uh-huh. Wasn't much at all, was it?
No, not at all.
Well, darling, would it be all right if I went down and bought it today?
Yes, dear.
More oatmeal?
Yes, dear.
Oh, and another thing. Dear, as long as you're going to be home today, don't you think it'd be nice if you'd rake the leaves up and mow the lawn and trim the hedge and clean up that mess in the basement?
But, Harriet...
Don't you agree with me, dear?
Yes, I agree with you, dear.
Oh, and Ozzy...
let's play a game.
What kind of a game?
Let's play a game where nobody talks.
But I wanted to
The
ask...
first one who talks is a rotten egg.
Ozzy, what's the matter with you? Aren't you feeling well? What you need is to get your strength back. Here, you better have some more oatmeal.
Thanks, loads. Harriet, do you have any cotton batting in the house?
Well, yes, dear. Why?
I want to stuff it in my ears.
Ozzy, what's wrong with your ears?
Nothing. I just don't want to lose any oatmeal.
Well, I'll see you later, dear. I want to get this shopping done, and I know you have plenty to do.
Oh, yes. Oh, hello, dear. When did you get back from town?
Oh, about 10 minutes ago.
Well, I finished the mowing.
Oh, but dear, look at all those ridges you left in the lawn.
Okay, dear, I'll do it over again. Mow the lawn, burn the leaves, clip the hedge, yes, until 5 o'clock. I'm lucky if I live until 5 o'clock.
Hey, Ozzy!
Oh, no, not that laughing hyena. How can I possibly be agreeable with him?
Hey, Ozzy!
Oh, hello, Harry.
And you were the guy who said he knew how to get out of working around the yard. Hey, I bet the little woman finally grabbed you and made you work. Oh, this is killing me.
I count on that, Harry.
Oh, brother, you should see yourself. You're the funniest thing I've ever seen. Hey, look out with those hedge clippers. Get away from me.
I won't hurt you, Harry. I like you.
Look out, you ripped the button off my coat. Look out. Help!
Darling,
Yeah?
did you finish mowing the lawn and clipping the hedge and raking the leaves and cleaning the basement?
Yes, dear.
Will you answer the door?
Yes, dear.
Ah, señor, yo no puedo vivir más porque tú eres un muchacho muy caballero, my little hot tamale.
Gosh, I'm awfully sorry. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting you.
Oh, why, Mr. Jackson, how can you say such a thing, you naughty boy? Don't you remember me, Rosita Hacienda?
Well,
Ah, now you remember me, don't you? Didn't we have a wonderful time last night, Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Jackson, my name is...
You know something? You look very different in the daytime. Oh, but of course you have shaved off your mustache.
Yes.
You are Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Andrew Jackson, George. Yes.
Wasn't it a wonderful evening? We did the rumba, we did the samba, we did the conga, we did the bomba. A jinga, jinga, bomba. Jinga, bomba.
The motor's running.
For goodness sakes, what's going on here? Sounds like the whole porch is caving in. Who's this?
Well, this is Senorita Hacienda. Senorita, this is my wife,
Harriet.
Harriet.
This is is your wife? Did you say Senorita Hacienda? Oh, how can her name be Hacienda? Hacienda's a house.
Well, that's what she's built like. Oh, that's what
Your husband is such a gay fellow. We had a wonderful time last night. Didn't we, my little hot tamale? Well, Ozzie, did you?
Yes. But, Harriet, I'm sure you must understand there is a very reasonable explanation for this, don't you? I'm sure you understand that, don't you, dear? I don't like the tone of what you're not saying.
I hope I have not made a mistake. I had a nice time last night with somebody. We did the rumba.
Oh, no.
We did the samba.
No.
We did the conga.
Yes, I know.
We did the bomba. I think Well, there's the 5 o'clock whistle.
The 5 o'clock whistle. I made it.
Ozzie, how would you like to help me pick some flowers?
No.
Ozzie.
I don't want to do anything. Harriet, you've worked me like mad today.
Ozzie, you're supposed to agree with everyone or you won't get in the lodge.
That was only until 5 o'clock. Hey, wait a minute. How did you know I was supposed to agree with everybody to get into the lodge?
Well, sir, you see...
So that's it. You knew I'd have to agree with you, and you took advantage of me. You worked me like a dog. I was trying to be agreeable, and you were just needling me along. Oh, Harry.
Sometimes I'm just a fiend.
Well, how did you know about it? Did the Lodge brothers tell you?
No, dear, you did.
I did?
Mm-hmm. I suppose I should have told you this a long time ago, but... Well, I'll let you in on a little secret, dear. You talk in your sleep.
Really? How long have I been doing this?
Ever since we were first married.
Gosh, I suppose I make up a lot of silly stuff.
On the contrary, you're very interesting.
Well, I imagine this must get awfully annoying to you, me talking in my sleep.
No, dear, I don't mind it when you talk in your sleep. But it does annoy me a little when you just lie there and chuckle.
Just think, all this happened as a result of my being initiated into a secret lodge.
Yep.
Well, there's one nice thing, though, dear. You can always say that for one whole day you were married to a husband who was sweet, kind, completely agreeable, and generous. It must have been wonderful.
Ozzie.
Mm-hmm.
I have a TL for you.
What is it, dear?
I like you much better as your old, obnoxious self.
Thank you, dear. Ozzie and Harriet will be back in a moment. Now, back to Ozzie and Harriet.
Ozzie. Ozzie, dear. Oh, poor Ozzie. He certainly fell asleep in a hurry tonight. No wonder after the day he put in. He sure was a good sport about it all. I must tell him tomorrow I was only kidding about buying all those things. Oh, look at him sleeping so peacefully with that nice smile on his face.
Oh, my gosh.
I wonder what he's dreaming about.
Jingle, jingle, boom, ba, This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Keep it tuned right here to HOJO Radio for more classic old-time radio.
Ozzie,
Yes, Harriet?
what's the latest in the international situation?
Just this, that the solid silver with beauty that lives forever is international sterling.
Oh, Ozzie, everybody knows that.
The solid silver with beauty that lives forever is international sterling. From Hollywood, International Silver Company, creators of International Sterling, present the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring America's favorite young couple, Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard. look in on the Nelsons at 1847 Rogers Road and see what Ozzie and Harriet are doing today. Oh, but wait. First, let's look in on the little shack on the vacant lot next door where David and Ricky Nelson and some of their little friends are holding a club meeting. As our scene opens, we hear a sound so familiar to the mother of every 8-year-old boy. Let's listen.
Then I close in on them and kill them all. Then I sneak over to the camp and kill the sentries. Then I wipe out the whole camp. Hey, wait a minute, David. Maybe one of them would kill you. Why? What have they got against me? Hey, you guys, how about playing some baseball? We can't, Ricky. I accidentally cracked the bat yesterday. Let's call Anthony. He's got a bat. We can't. It was on his head that I accidentally cracked it. Speaking of bats, we sure could use a new baseball bat and some more gloves. Yeah, but talk is cheap. We ain't got enough money to buy nothing. What do we got in the treasury, Tommy? You mean exactly? Yeah, what's in the treasury? Well, there's 52 cents, 14 airplane pictures, 130 marbles, 2 turtles, and Tom's kid brother Herman that we're holding till Tom pays his dues. There must be some way we can raise money. Why don't we hold another raffle? Yeah, that's a good idea. Last time we held a raffle, we sold 27 raffles at 5 cents each. That's right. The guy who had the lucky number even refused the prize. Yeah, we couldn't get rid of Tom's kid brother Herman that way either. Hey, I got a good idea, hey? Why don't we rent this club to somebody to live in, and we can collect the rent, hey? No, we can't. Why not? The OPA. What's the OPA? I don't know, but Pop says they don't let you do nothing. Say, I got a better idea. There's a lot of people that want places to live. Why don't we tear down this little shack and put up a great big apartment house? Then we could collect way more rent. Hey, that's a great idea, hey. It'd be easy to build. There's lots of old red bricks laying around the lot, hey? Let's make it a real big one. 200 stories. Have we got enough bricks for that, hey? Oh, sure. There must be 50 or 60 of them out there. Well, maybe you guys are right. Yeah, it's easy to put up apartment houses these days, too. You don't need to build no roof. No roof? You know, that's something else I heard my pop say. That OPA, they put a ceiling on everything. One thing, though. Let's not rent it to any families with kids. Children are too destructive and mischievous. Oh, I don't know. Oh, yes. They keep tracking the floor and marking the walls no matter how many times my mother tells me. Let's start building right now, hey? Oh, just a minute. We're forgetting something important. Like what? Well, first we gotta make a syndicate. Can't we just make the apartment house? No. First we gotta make the syndicate. Look at Ricky. Don't even know what a syndicate is. I don't know what a syndicate is either, Tommy. Well, that's how big businessmen do things. Well, didn't your pop ever get together with a bunch of other guys and something very important? Yeah, sure. Well, that's a syndicate. Oh, a poker game. Well, come on, guys. Let's start building the house. Okay. I'll go get some shovels and a bag of cement. We'll get to work right away. Right, Tommy? Yeah, and look what I've got. I just wrote an ad for the papers when we finish the house. You mean for the want ads? Yeah, listen to this. Beautiful apartments to rent. $2 a month. P.S. $1 a month if you're a candy manufacturer. Dear.
Oh, hello, Harriet.
What's wrong, Ozzie? You look upset.
I am upset. Harriet, do you know what a man down the street just told me?
No, I don't, but I think you're good looking.
Oh, well, this has nothing to do with my looks. It seems that a very disturbing rumor is spreading through the neighborhood.
What's that?
Well, you know that vacant lot right next door to us?
Yeah.
Well, some big syndicate is putting up an immense apartment house on it. I heard it from Charlie Hooper, and then from old Mr. Carlton, and then Ben told me the same thing.
Are you sure about this?
Just as sure as I'm a human being.
Well, let's not worry until it's more definite. And, dear, besides, you know, it's not a very nice lot, you know. In fact, the kids call it the Rogers Road Dust Bowl.
No, I think this is pretty serious, Harriet. Big apartment house right next door? Isn't exactly my idea of something to laugh about. I like neighbors, but not about 200 of them 10 feet away.
I guess you're right at that.
Besides blocking off our house and turning this street into a traffic street and a lot of other things like that, it's going to deprive all the kids of their only playground around here.
And you're right, you're right.
They always have so much fun playing there, too.
Remember the time they were playing Follow the Leader and they all climbed up that telephone pole and then they dared you to do it?
I did it, too, didn't I?
Yeah. And it wasn't so very much trouble for the fire department to get you down.
You know, Harriet, when I passed that clubhouse tonight on the way home, I felt terrible. All those kids, and soon they'll have no place to play. And just because some big syndicate decided to make a few more dollars. It seems to me that the freedom of youth is worth a good deal more to the community than the desires of a few big businessmen. Has the time come that we've thrown over the principles of democracy and justice for the many merely because of the importance of a select few?
The senator from California has the floor. And now may I ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
How many times have you seen Anchors Away?
Okay.
No, you're right, dear. That apartment house is bad for a lot of reasons, especially from the kids' point of view.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to do everything I can to prevent it. Maybe I won't be able to, but I sure will try. I'll tell you that much.
Well, Mom. Hiya, Pop. Hello, David.
Hello, son.
Say, Pop, you know what me and the fellas are doing?
Not now, David. Mother and I are discussing something very important.
It'll only take a minute, Pop.
Later, son, please. This discussion concerns you, too, and it's really very important. You know, Harriet, maybe I'll look up the zoning restrictions on apartment houses.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, Pop. The apartment house.
Oh, so you know about it?
Of course. As a matter of fact...
Well, David, I want you to tell every single one of your friends that your father is doing everything in his power to stop that apartment house from going up.
You're trying to stop it? But, Pop...
If I have to dig into every legal book in the library, if I have to get out an injunction, even if I have to take it to court, I'll do what I can to prevent it.
Gee whiz, Pop.
Well, just go out and tell the boys that that's the way your pop feels about it.
Okay, if you say so. Bye, David. Bye. Gee, I wonder what it feels like to be a hermit.
Yes, sir, I want those kids to know that they have one real friend.
Oh, honey, now look, don't you think you may be getting all worked up unnecessarily? It could be just a rumor, you know.
No, this is pretty definite. As a matter of fact, the whole thing is really my fault anyway. I was on the verge of buying that lot any number of times. If only I'd bought it, this never would have happened. Do you remember once about 3 years ago? I was going to buy that lot then, but something interfered. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, you didn't have enough money.
Oh, yeah. And then later on, that second time I was going to buy it, something came up again, didn't it? What was that?
You didn't have enough money?
Oh, yeah. And the third time I almost bought it. Let's see, what was wrong then?
You didn't have enough money.
It's always something, isn't it? If only I'd have bought that lot when I wanted to, everything would be all right now.
Oh, well, let's not talk about it till after we eat, dear. Dinner's almost ready.
Okay, but that's what always happens when you put something off until tomorrow. Somebody else goes and does it, and then you just feel like kicking yourself. 3 times I was going to buy that apartment.
Ozzie Nelson, you've been sitting there with a sour face all through dinner.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I was thinking about the syndicate buying that lot. I didn't realize I was being such a sourpuss. Anything I can do for you?
Yeah, smile and show your teeth. I want to be able to tell you from the dill pickle.
Well, Harriet, I'm just sore about not buying it. I kept putting it off and putting it off.
Oh, I know, dear. I was just teasing you. Before we sit down and start figuring out what to do, I'll call Gloria so she can clear the table. Oh, Gloria! Gloria!
Did you call me, Mrs. Nelson?
Yes, Gloria, I did. We finished dinner.
All right, Mrs. Nelson. And if you'll pardon me for saying so, Mr. Nelson looks very unhappy this evening.
Oh, well, I'm sort of burned up at myself, Gloria. It's exactly as my mother always says. Procrastination is the thief of time.
Oh, you're telling me.
Oh, have you ever kept putting something off and finally wound up not doing it at all?
Have you ever seen the dust on the piano?
Well, you see, Gloria, Mr. Nelson's always wanted to buy that vacant lot next door. And it's rumored now that some big syndicate went and bought it.
They did?
Yeah, that's right. Somebody else bought that lot next door.
Oh, that's too bad. When are they going to take it away?
No, nobody's taking the lot away, Gloria.
Oh, well, that's good. It'd leave such an awful hole.
It's even worse than that. It seems they're going to build a big apartment house next door.
We're pretty upset about the whole thing. The children will have no place to play, and noisy neighbors can often be very disagreeable.
Oh, I had a very disagreeable neighbor once. It was terrible. Mrs. Nelson, what would you do if you had a neighbor who shook out her dust mop practically in your living room and made noise late at night and always walked across your lawn?
Well, first I'd talk to her about it.
That's what I thought, but no, this woman had to call the police.
But, Gloria, it's not only the neighbors. There's so many reasons. It'll ruin our view, for one thing.
Ruin the view?
Sure, you won't be able to see anything, will you?
Well, that depends on how far down they pull their shades. Well, I'll see you later.
Good old Gloria. Well, let's try to figure out what we can do about this apartment house, shall we, dear?
I hate to be a wet blanket, honey, but I don't think there's much you can do.
Say, Harriet, I just thought of something. Maybe that big syndicate hasn't bought the lot yet.
What makes you say that?
Well, I understand that Mrs. Appleby, the lady who owns it, has been out of town for a few weeks. She just got back today. Maybe that company's been making plans before buying the lot. Could be. At least it's worth going over there.
You mean over to Mrs. Appleby?
Well, sure. If we get to her before the syndicate does, we'll buy the lot first.
Well, it's up to you. But they've probably already bought it, honey.
And if they have, I'll fight it to the last. I'll write to my congressman. If that doesn't help, I'll go see the governor. And if that doesn't help, I'll go to see President Truman himself.
Could you get in to see President Truman?
Well, of course. President Truman and I are very close friends.
Really?
Well, at the last meeting of the Musicians' Union, I met a guy who knows a fellow who's a friend of the man that tunes his piano.
And now our lovely singing stars, the four famous King sisters.
I'm gonna love that guy like he's never been loved before. I'm gonna show that guy he's the fella that I adore. When he's in my arms again, our dreams will all come true. Then the years between might never have been. We'll start our lives anew. I'm gonna kiss that boy like he's never been kissed before. And though I miss that guy, he's the fellow I'm waiting for. We'll never part again, he'll hold my heart again, forever and evermore. I'm gonna love that guy like he's never been loved before. When he's in my arms again, our dreams will all come true. Then the years between might never have been. We'll start our lives anew. I'm gonna kiss that guy like he's never been kissed before. And though I miss that guy, he's the fellow I'm waiting for. We'll never part again, he'll hold my heart again, forever and evermore. I'm gonna love that guy like he's never, no, never loved before.
Now back to Ozzie and Harriet.
The kids of the neighborhood really started something when they decided to enlarge their clubhouse on the vacant lot next door. As a result, a false rumor started that a big syndicate was planning to build an apartment house there. Ozzie, in order to stop the building, decided to try to buy the lot before the syndicate did. We find him now, with Harriet, ringing the doorbell at Mrs. Appleby's, the woman who owns the lot.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Appleby. Do you remember me? I live right...
Oh, of course. Come right in. When did you get to town?
Mrs. Appleby, I think you have me confused.
Aren't you a fellow by the name of Peterson who owned a leather and harness shop next to the drugstore in Scranton, Pennsylvania?
No, and my name is Nelson.
Of course. I don't know how I mistook you for Mr. Peterson. His eyes are brown, and you're wearing a gray suit, and he died 5 years ago.
Oh, yes. You know my wife, don't you, Mrs. Appleby?
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Appleby?
No, I'm Mrs. Nelson.
Oh, of course, my dear. You know, every time I see you two, I can't help noticing how much Mr. Nelson resembles my first husband, Cedric.
Oh, that's nice. We came
It's too bad we had to be divorced, but I guess it had to come. I ate crackers in bed, and poor Cedric couldn't stand the crumbs.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Those crumbs in bed used to drive Cedric crazy, and he was so clever. You know what he told the judge?
No, what did he tell the judge?
He said he just had to have a divorce because instead of being wedded, he was gradually being breaded. Isn't that clever?
Yes. I'd like to talk to you about...
Naturally, when I married for the second time, I didn't eat crackers in bed. Heaven forbid. I wouldn't dream of eating crackers in bed.
Oh, well, that's good.
But we were divorced, too. Those lamb chops cost just as much trouble.
Well, Mrs. Appleby, the reason we dropped
That
in
was my second husband. I've had 3, you know. That's right, 3 husbands. Now, what was it you wanted to ask me?
Well, to come right to the point, Mrs. Appleby...
You know there's someone else you remind me of. I know. It's that young fellow who lives right around the corner on Rogers Road.
Well, that's me, Mrs. Appleby.
Oh, it couldn't be. This fellow's name is Nelson.
Yes, that's me. My name is Nelson.
Of course. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have such a poor memory. Nelson, let me see. Oh, I know how I can remember it. The same as Battling Nelson, who won the lightweight championship from Joe Gans in Reno, Nevada on April 11th, 1917 at 133 pounds in 6 rounds, and I won 60 cents on him at 3-2 odds. Yes, sir. That's how I remember you, Mr. Dempsey.
Mrs. Appleby.
Yes?
Mrs. Appleby, are you interested in selling that lot next to my house?
Mr. Nelson, is that what you came over here to ask me?
Yes.
Well, for goodness sakes, what was all that beating around the bush for?
Well, I'm kind of a blabbermouth. But tell me, you haven't promised that lot to anybody else, have you?
Oh, no.
Then will you take a $50 deposit on it and hold it for me?
Oh, certainly, Mr. Nelson, if you wish to buy it.
Oh, that's fine.
We'll let you know as soon as possible.
Here's the $50, Mrs. Appleby. And now I think we'd better be going.
Oh, but Mr. Nelson, I haven't even told you why my last husband left me.
I know why. You ate grapefruits in bed.
Why, that's right. I ate grapefruits in bed. But how did you know?
I remember the headline in the society column that day. Mrs. Appleby squirts off 3rd drip.
Is this the place you mean, dear?
Yeah, this is it. I've seen their ads in the paper.
Well, you go ahead, dear, and I'll see you at home later, okay? Goodbye.
Bye.
Welcome to the Helping Hand Finance Company.
I'm thinking of buying some real estate, and I'd like to see about borrowing some money.
Well, you came to the right place, friend. Because we always have plenty of money. Lots of money. Now, what would you like? $10,000?
No.
$100,000? $1 million? No loan is too big or too small for the Helping Hand Finance Company. We just lend money and lend money. Now, what's your name, please?
Nelson. Ozzie Nelson. I phoned you a while ago.
Oh, yes. I think we got some information on you. Just a few pertinent facts our investigators checked on. Now, let's see. Oh, here it is. Ozzie Nelson, born on...
We've led a very interesting life, haven't we,
Well, you know, that is...
And let's see. One night in June 1938, while you were...
If that was that night in Pismo Beach...
This is in Toledo.
Oh.
And then you...
What's the matter?
I just got to Pismo Beach. Well, I guess it'll be all right. Now, how much do you want to borrow?
Well, you see, I'm not sure yet. I just wanted to line everything up for a certain big deal. Suppose I call back tomorrow, would that be all right?
Mr. Nelson, yes. We'll be happy to serve you. And please bear in mind, Mr. Nelson, or Ozzy, if I may, we don't want you to look upon this as a cold business deal. We want you to think of us as warm friends who are glad to help you out in your hour of need. Your signature on one of our applications is like the warm hand clasp of two dear friends. That's why we call ourselves the Helping Hand Finance Company, because we give you a helping hand.
Oh, well, thanks. Oh, just one thing. Suppose I can't meet my payments on time. Do you still extend a helping hand?
Well, in that case, we use our foot a little.
Ozzy!
Yes, dear.
Honey, I've been thinking over this whole business about the apartment house.
I know, dear, you've been thinking, but your husband's a man of action. I've got everything lined up. My credit's okay at the finance company, and now I'll go over to Mrs. Appleby and start to talk real business.
But, darling...
I can just imagine how that big syndicate is going to feel when they find out they've been outsmarted by a guy who's a little too fast for them.
Well, I just hope you haven't wasted $50 and a whole lot of time and energy, that's all.
Oh, Harriet, please.
Well, Mom. Oh, Pop.
Well, David, what did the gang say when you told them your old man was putting a stop to that apartment house business, eh?
Well, they were kind of mad at first, but then we held a meeting and decided to dig a hole to China instead.
Oh, well, that, what is that?
Well, as long as you wouldn't let our syndicate build the apartment house, we already had the shovels and stuff.
Wait a minute. You mean that you kids...
And there you have it, folks. The mystery of the big syndicate is explained.
Oh, Harriet, you were right all the time. I'm a fool, that's what I am. I'm a dope. I'm a moron. I'm an idiot. Well?
Keep going, dear. I'll tell you when to stop.
I'll get it.
Hello, Mr. Nelson, Mrs. Nelson. Remember me, Mrs. Appleby? Oh, my goodness, that rhymes, doesn't it? Well, I had a little trouble finding...
Pardon me, but did you happen to come in to see us about the lot, Mrs. Appleby?
Did I? Oh, yes, of course, yes. I came to find out if you still want to buy it.
Mrs. Appleby, I'm sorry to cause you this trouble, but we decided not to buy the lot. Naturally, we forfeit the $50 deposit.
Oh, no. I insist on giving it back to you.
Oh, but Mrs. Appleby, we want to be fair with you. After all, you lose enough by not selling the lot.
Well, that's what I wanted to tell you. You see, I've already sold the lot, and I was afraid you'd be upset about it.
Oh, you sold it?
Yes, isn't that good news? Late this afternoon, some nice man from a syndicate called on me, and he bought it. He's going to put up a nice big apartment house. Isn't that wonderful?
Here we go again.
International Silver Company, creators of International Sterling, invite you to listen again next Sunday to the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, with songs by the King Sisters and music by Ozzie Nelson's orchestra.
And don't forget, the solid silver with beauty that lives forever is International Sterling.
You're right, Harriet. The solid silver with beauty that lives forever is International Sterling.
in the Hollywood studios of the Columbia Broadcasting System and is also broadcast over the Trans-Canada Network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This adventure of Ozzie and Harriet will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Appearing in support of Ozzie and Harriet were B. Benaderet, John Brown, Joel Davis.
High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of Space Patrol. Next on HOJO Radio.
Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and Good Hot Ralston present Space Patrol! Transcribed high adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. Buzz and Happy are in the lower shaft of a secret mine on Saturn's sixth moon. As they wade through the water of the partly flooded shaft, a strange sound filters down through the mine.
Happy, listen. Sounds like a motor of some kind. The mine's automatic pump. When the water reaches a certain level, it cuts on and draws off the water. But, Commander, look at the water level against the wall of the shaft. It's rising. You're right, Happy. That pipe isn't drawing water out, it's forcing it in. Someone reversed the pump. They're trying to drown us.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Last Voyage of the Lonesome Lena. Presenting the story of a young boy who didn't like any of the cereals his mom brought home. First he'd say,
I can't eat that stuff, Mom.
Sometimes he'd say,
Oh, gee, no flavor.
And then again,
Don't like it, Mom. I just don't like it.
So she tried cereals in white packages, yellow packages, blue packages. But no luck.
No flavor.
Then one day she brought home a pair of cereals in red and white checkerboard packages.
Wowee, that's good. Oh, boy.
That's what he said when he tasted one of them.
Jumpin' Jupiter. Great day in the morning. This is it.
That's what he said when he tasted the other. The cereals?
Rice Checks and Wheat Checks, gang. Man, oh, man. They're my cereals.
Buzz Corey cereals, too. The bite-sized super cereals that help to supercharge you.
Best tasting cereals in the universe.
And the only official ready-to-eat cereals of the Space Patrol.
Fill her up, Mom. Rice Checks.
That's what our friend says now.
Fill her up, Mom. Wheat Checks.
So, gang, if you want a cereal that's right on the beam for flavor, get the cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages. Rice Checks. Wheat Checks. Saturn's number 6 moon, Titan, has become increasingly important to the commerce of the outer planets. However, rumors of illegal activity on Titan have caused Commander Corey to send Tonga, his assistant security chief, to the Saturn satellite to investigate. Now, Buzz and Happy aboard Space Patrol battlecruiser Terra 5, headed for Titan, are talking to Tonga by spaceophone, as she reports from the satellite's chief settlement, Titan Center.
So you find that the chief black market items are processed foods and medical supplies, huh?
That's right, Commander.
What about those reports we received on the uranium mine? Was there anything to the sabotage rumors?
Well, there was no actual sabotage, but about 2 weeks ago, a couple of men did try to get inside the guarded area.
Were they captured?
No, they got away. But there haven't been any recent incidents.
Have you found out who's behind this black market food situation?
No, but there's a lot of talk about a Captain Kruger.
Captain Gustav Kruger?
Yes, he's the one. He's quite a legend in this part of the solar system.
I think I've heard of him, Commander. Isn't he that old-time space pilot who has the broken-down cargo ship?
Yes, Happy. Lonesome Lena, he calls it. It's been shuttling back and forth between Saturn's moons for years. I've never heard of him being mixed up in anything dishonest. Who gave you this information?
A man named Sherwin McCurdy, for one. He's behind a lot of this new development in Titan. Kruger has given McCurdy some trouble, but I don't think McCurdy takes the old gentleman too seriously.
Have you met Kruger?
No, not yet. He just got back from Saturn. He's at Titan Center spaceport repairing his ship.
We'll have a talk with him when we land. Meet us at the spaceport and we'll go over together.
Yes, sir.
Corey out. Well, stand by for landing, Happy.
Standing by, sir.
Kill rockets.
Rockets out.
Hit repeller ray.
Repeller ray on, sir.
Now, let's button up the ship, and then we'll have a chat with Captain Kruger.
So that's the Lonesome Lena. Boy, that ship must be 100 years old.
Well, not quite happy, but it has seen a lot of service.
It's so patched up. And look how it's pitted with meteor hits.
Only a real space pilot could keep it in operation.
Is that Kruger coming down the ladder?
Yes. Captain Kruger! Oh, Captain Kruger!
He looked right at us and then turned away.
Oh, I told you he was independent. Let's get over there. He's checking the hatch. Well, how's the ship, Captain?
Good for another 50 billion GUs.
With you handling it anyway. Remember me, Commander Corey?
Yeah, I recognized you.
This is my cadet, Happy.
Very glad to know you, Captain.
Have some calcium seeds, cadet?
Some what?
Calcium seeds. Great unraveled orbits, Commander. Don't tell me this new crop of space cadets doesn't know what calcium seeds are.
Never heard of them, Captain.
Your education sure has been neglected.
Well, they grow on Venus, Happy. They used to be very popular on space flights.
Yeah, you never get space sickness if you chew calcium seeds. Not only that, but they keep you from blacking out at high acceleration.
Oh.
And out in space, you never mind the absence of gravity as long as you chew calcium seeds.
As you can see, Happy, Captain Kruger is a pilot of the old school. He's the only pilot I know who still chews raw calcium seeds.
Yeah. People nowadays won't touch them. Just because they stain your hands purple when you crack them. Well, Commander, you didn't come over here for a lecture on calcium seeds. What's on your mind?
Oh, just a few questions about business.
I see. I suppose you've heard rumors that I'm hijacking food and selling it on the black market. Is that it?
There are a lot of rumors in Titan these days, Captain.
Yeah, and a lot of upstarts. They come in here with shiny new ships and big ideas. They act like I don't belong. I'm getting shoved around, Commander. But I'm not going to take it. I never have. I'm not going to now. Well, now, if you'll excuse me, I got some repairs to make. Lonesome Lena's in pretty bad shape.
All right, Captain. Come on, Happy. Let's find Tonga.
You can tell them for me that if Sherwin McCurdy promised delivery, they'll get it. We're a little short of spaceships here on Titan right now. Hey, look, stall them off. Promise them anything. I'll call you back later. Come in.
McCurdy, I want to work with you.
Well, Captain Kruger, glad to see you.
Put your hand back in your pocket, McCurdy.
Why, what's the matter, Captain? You seem angry.
Why wouldn't I be? For 10 years, I've been setting the old Lonesome Lena down on Titan any place I wanted, or on any moon in the Saturn system. Folks were mighty glad to see me whenever I rocketed in, until your crowd got here.
My crowd, Captain?
One of your hired flunkies just told me I can't set down on the Titan Center spaceport anymore. Oh, what kind of high-handed nonsense is that?
It isn't nonsense, Captain. You can't put the Lonesome Lena down on this port. Well, that old bucket of bolts you call the Lonesome Lena's a menace. If I had my way, I'd report you to the Space Patrol. They'd melt up that old hulk.
Oh, you would. You'd melt up a ship that has helped keep people alive for the last 40 years out here on these moons.
Ship's out of date. It served its purpose. Now it's finished.
Who are you to decide whether the Lonesome Lena's finished? One patch on that old battered hull is worth 10,000 of you. Melt her up, would you? I warn you, McCurdy, if you ever say that again, I'll slap you.
Take your hands off me. Take your...
All right, Captain, that's enough.
Commander Corey, this man attacked me. You got here just in time.
What's the trouble here?
I was merely pointing out that his spaceship violates Space Patrol safety regulations.
That's a bald-faced lie, McCurdy. The Lonesome Lena's safe as any ship in the space lane.
Does it have repel array equipment?
Well, no.
Does it have infrared view scope equipment?
I don't need it. I can land it blindfolded on any spaceport in the solar system.
Does it have Class A radiation shielding on the space drive?
Her shielding's good enough. I ought to know. I built it.
I see, Commander. Obviously, he can't be permitted to land here at Titan Center. Those are regulations.
Commander, I've always respected you. Are you going to side in with this planet lubber?
I'm sorry, Captain Kruger, but I don't make the regulations. My job is to enforce them. There are thousands of people here in Titan Center. Their safety comes first.
They're safer with Lonesome Lena than with half the amateur pilots in these new ships, and you know it.
Captain, if we made an exception in your case, we'd have to do it for everyone. However, we won't be concerned if you have these safety devices installed.
But that takes money, Commander. I haven't got it. I'll never be able to get it if I can't land here to load and unload freight.
Well, perhaps you can work out some arrangements to land outside a 10-mile radius of Titan Center.
10 miles? Might as well be 10 DUs out in space.
I'm sorry, Captain Kruger. There's nothing I can do.
You win, McCurdy. Have some calcium seeds. I won't be needing them anymore.
Well, Captain is very dramatic, isn't he?
I don't find it amusing, Mr. McCurdy. That old ship of his means more than his livelihood. It's his life.
Well, Commander, I wouldn't let my sympathies blind me to Captain Kruger's sharp practices.
What do you mean?
Kruger's lived by his wits. He's been a lone wolf. Now he's up against the rules of society, and instead of abiding by the rules, he takes the attitude that everyone's against him. Watch him, Commander. I confess I'm rather afraid of what he might do.
I'm here on Titan to prevent trouble, Mr. McCurdy. That's why I came to see you. I'd like to talk to you about conditions here.
Of course. Sit down.
All right, now, I just want to make an appointment. I have a few matters to talk over first with my assistant security chief, Tonga, back at our temporary headquarters.
I see.
How about later today?
That'll be fine, Commander. I'll look forward to it.
So the captain is really sore, huh?
Yeah. In a way, I can't blame him.
Oh, Tonga, did you tell the commander about the uranium mine?
Uranium mine?
Yes, the big one, halfway around Titan. Someone is planning to tap the mine, dig into it from a natural cavern on the other side of the mountain so they can steal the ore, or sabotage the mine.
Who's behind this?
I don't know. But I do know that some mining equipment has been hidden in the cavern. And I know the location. They are being very careful. The crust tunnel is being worked only when the cavern is on the night side of Titan. It's daylight there now.
I think Happy and I ought to take a look at it.
Do you want me to go too, Commander?
No, you stay here in Titan Center. Call Sherwin McCurdy. Tell him I won't be able to keep that appointment. May not be back in time.
There's the mouth of the cavern, sir.
There's been plenty of activity around here, too, by the looks of the ground.
Yeah, there's a pipe leading from the cavern.
A drainage pipe. Machinery right inside the cave. Looks like a pump.
A pump?
Apparently they have to keep pumping water out of the shaft inside the cavern. Get your atomolite, Hap. We'll have a look inside. Don't bump your head when you go through this opening, Happy.
I wonder how close we are to the regular mine.
It's hard to tell.
Hey, we're in water over our ankles. Oh, this shaft can't go much farther. We must be halfway into the mountain by now. The water's getting deeper, sir. It's nearly up to my waist.
Yeah. Listen.
Sounds like a motor of some kind. Must be back outside the cavern.
The automatic pump engine. When the water reaches a certain level, it cuts on and draws off the water.
But, Commander, look at the water level against the wall of the shaft. It looks like it's rising.
You're right, Hap. That pipe isn't drawing water out, it's forcing it in. Someone reversed the pumps. They know we're down here, and they're trying to drown us.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a minute. They call him Whizzer, and there's not another boy in the neighborhood who can play basketball half as well. What's your secret, Whizzer?
No secret. I just get supercharged every morning.
You mean you have a good breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal?
You bet. Rice Chicks, Wheat Chicks, or Instant Ralston. That's how Buzz Corey gets supercharged. That's how I get supercharged.
Say, how about those Chex? They're plenty delicious, right?
I'll say. And they're bite-sized.
And they're the only cereals in the universe that have that modern bite-sized design.
And there's only one cereal in the universe like Instant Ralston. I love it.
That's the hot super cereal. Helps you to think fast, act fast.
And play basketball fast.
You said it. Instant Ralston is a cereal for winners and whizzers. That's what you are, a winner. How about you, gang? Wouldn't you like to be Whizzer? Get supercharged. Eat a good breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal. Don't wait. Get 'em today. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, good hot Ralston. Buzz and Happy have entered a cavern on Titan, 6th moon of the planet Saturn, to investigate a hidden shaft that they believe leads to a uranium mine. After crawling through a narrow opening far under the ground, they suddenly noticed that the water in the bottom of the shaft seemed to be rising. Then they heard the sound of the pump echoing down from the cavern opening and realized that water was being deliberately pumped into the mine shaft to drown them. With the water up to their chests, They flash their atomolites around them, searching for a way to escape.
Hey, wait, Hap. Listen.
I don't hear the pump anymore. Maybe it's been shut off.
No. The water's still gushing in from that pipe. We don't hear the pump because the water is over the narrow opening.
Well, then how are we going to get through?
We'll dive under long enough to get to a place where the water doesn't fill the shaft.
All set, Happy? Yes, sir. Dive deep.
We made it.
Yeah. Hey, the water's not even up to my hips here.
We're on an upward slope of the shaft. Come on, Happy. Let's get out of this place. I'll shut it off.
Well, there's no sign of a ship around here, sir, except ours.
Whoever did this has certainly finished us off.
I'd sure like to find out who it was.
Happy. Look there on the ground. See what's scattered around the pump?
Callium seeds.
Right.
Well, I guess we know who turned the pump on, sir.
I've known Captain Kruger a long time. I can't imagine him doing a thing like this.
Shall I pick up some of these seeds, sir, for evidence?
Yes. Then let's get back to Titan Center.
I don't understand it, Commander. I don't see how Kruger or anyone else knew that I told you about the secret mine.
He could have seen our ship headed that way and followed us in Lonesome Lena.
Well, if he did, he must be working with a gang. While you were gone, something happened here.
Oh?
Some antibiotics were stolen. Several thousand credits worth. The worst part of it is they're urgently needed at a hospital on Saturn. There's an epidemic of Zeta virus at Saturn City.
Well, can't they send medicine in from some other planet?
Well, this particular antibiotic is made here on Titan. There is some on the other planets, but there isn't enough time to get it. And if a supply of the medicine isn't taken to Saturn very soon, the doctors say a lot of cases will prove fatal.
Yeah, there must be some more of that medicine here on Titan. Maybe McCurdy can help us out.
I've already talked to McCurdy. He said he's contacted every possible source. The thieves stole every bit of it and will now hold out for a fancy prize.
Well, they won't have to hold out long.
Commander, do you think Kruger's mixed up in this, too?
We're going to find out, Happy. Let's find the Lonesome Lena.
Corey!
Captain Kruger.
I won't be persecuted. Not by the Space Patrol or anybody else. I'm getting a raw deal. And if you're as fair-minded as I think you are, you'll agree with
Is the raw deal you're getting as bad as being nearly drowned in a flooded mine?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Show him the evidence, Happy.
Yes, sir. Recognize these, Captain?
Well, of course, they're calcium seeds.
We found them by the pump, Kruger.
Pump? What pump?
In the opening of the secret shaft near the uranium mine.
I'm not interested in any uranium mines. I want justice. Commander, look what that McCurdy has done to me now. You see this paper? It's a doctor's order telling me I can't make any more commercial space flights. McCurdy has been trying to get the official doctors on me for months. We finally succeeded. They gave me a checkup, and I'm grounded.
Let me see that.
For 6 hours, they gave me tests. Heart, blood pressure, metabolism, the works.
This is Dr. Greer's signature, all right.
Yeah. But just read what he says.
Captain Kruger's condition makes any further space flights extremely dangerous. As a space physician, I deem it inadvisable for Captain Kruger to be permitted to operate any commercial spacecraft for reasons of his own safety and the safety of others. Signed, Dr. Melvin Greer.
What am I going to do now, Commander? I'll starve to death. I'd rather go quick, blasting off on a spaceship.
Just a minute, Captain. This physical examination must have taken several hours.
I just told you it did.
Then you couldn't have been at the mine.
Mine? I haven't been near any mine. I haven't been anywhere but in the doctor's office getting needles stuck in me. And that isn't all. While the doc was working on me, there was a gang of inspectors checking over Lonesome Lena.
Official Space Patrol inspectors?
Yeah. That's another thing McCurdy's been trying to arrange for months. I admit I've been dodging inspection because I knew what they'd say. Me and Lonesome Lena were both out of commission.
I'm sorry about that, Captain Kruger.
Yeah, you're sorry.
But you can be thankful for one thing. This examination clears you of suspicion. Someone has been trying very hard to implicate you in a serious crime.
Well, that's not news to me, Commander.
I have an idea who it might be.
You mean McCurdy, sir?
Now, wait a minute. I know McCurdy has it in for me, but I'd say this for him. He tried to get Dr. Greer to postpone the physical examination.
Oh, he did. After trying for months to bring it about.
Yeah, but it didn't do any good. The doc said I was too slippery an old cuss to take chances with. So I was stuck.
Happy. Tonga, we're going to find McCurdy. Captain, you stay around close in case I need you.
Don't worry, Commander. I won't be going anywhere.
There he is, sir. Heading for that atmosphere ship.
He certainly seems in a hurry.
Tonga, wait here. Come on, Happy.
McCurdy, wait a minute. He's running for the ship, sir. McCurdy, hold it. I want to talk to you.
What is it, Commander?
I've got a few questions I'd like to ask.
Of course.
We've just come from your office. From the looks of things, you left in a hurry. In fact, it looks as though you didn't intend to come back.
Should that concern the Space Patrol, Commander?
Possibly. Where were you going?
I happen to have business at Torkland on the other side of Titan. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Not until you explain that purple stain on your hands.
What?
That purple stain on your hands, could it be from calcium seeds?
Calcium seeds? Why, what would I be doing with calcium seeds?
Scattering them around a pump, maybe?
That package you're holding, what's in it?
This has gone far enough. Stand back and get your hands up.
You ought to be quicker than that, McCurdy.
Oh,
let go of that ray gun. That's it. Now, don't try anything like that again.
Commander, this package he's got. Look at the label. Acro Laboratories, Titan Center. Antibiotics. This must be the medicine that was to go to Saturn.
Take it back to Tonga. We'll blast off for Saturn right away.
You won't get off Titan in your ship, Corey.
Why not?
I put your controls out of commission so you couldn't follow me. And there isn't any other ship on the satellite except my atmosphere ship. And that won't take you there.
I'm afraid he's right, Commander.
You'll have to space a phone to Saturn for a ship to come and get us.
Oh, but that will take hours. And the situation on Saturn is critical.
Commander!
Yes, Captain?
Well, I see you got McCurdy.
Yes, and the medicine.
Yeah, but McCurdy's wrecked our ship. There's no way to get off of Titan.
Well, how about the lonesome Lena?
But Lena's grounded.
Just a lot of official space jabber. She'll still fly. And by Jupiter, I'm taking you all to Saturn.
You'd better let me take your ship, Captain, after what the doctor said.
Commander, I know you're the best pilot in the solar system, but Lena's sort of, well, temperamental. She's got a lot of quirks and things. If she isn't handled just right, well, she just might go all to pieces.
Are you sure you're willing to risk a blast-off in Lena after what the doctor said?
Commander, I'm safer in Lonesome Lena than anywhere in the universe.
Then let's go. Come on, McCurdy. We're taking you with us.
Not in that pile of junk. It isn't safe.
Get going.
The ship's condemned. You have no right to endanger my life.
Why, you low-frequency crook. As though your life was worth a calcium seed.
Let's go. Bring the medicine, Happy.
All right, everybody. Sit tight. We're going to blast off.
Look at those controls. Why, well, they're just patched together.
Keep quiet, McCurdy. All right, Captain, when you're ready.
Wait just a minute. I got a few more adjustments to make here. Like I said, Lena's temperamental. You sort of got a sense what to do.
I admit I've never seen a control set up like this.
Are you ready, everybody?
Yes.
All set. Let her go.
And here we go. Commander, we're spaceborne.
An excellent blast-off, Captain.
Yeah, just like I said.
Captain, what's wrong?
My heart.
Tonga, get the first aid kit, if there is one.
He's passed out. Now what are we going to do?
Happy.
Yes, Commander?
Help me lift the captain out of the pilot's seat.
Yes, sir.
There. Happy, you and Tonga see what you can do to make him comfortable. I'll take the lonesome Lena into Saturn.
How you doing, Commander?
All right so far, Happy. We're 2 minutes out of Saturn City Spaceport. How's the captain?
He seems to be coming out of it, sir. Tonga's trying to make him lie down back aft.
He had me worried for a while. I hope he can take the landing. It'll be just as bad as the blast-off with this antiquated equipment.
Have you space-phoned the hospital, sir?
Yes. The chief physician says that if we get the medicine there in half an hour, we'll be in time.
Oh, we can do that easy.
Yes, if I can land this Hulk without crashing. Stand by for landing.
Commander!
Captain Kruger!
I just couldn't make him stay in the bunk, Commander.
I'm sorry I conked out on you, but I see you got everything under control. You think you can handle the landing, Commander, or do you want me to?
I'd better take her in, Captain, in case you...
Sure. But if I just might make a suggestion. But that's it! Thunder and Comets, Commander, you sure know how to handle Lonesome Lena.
Here we go. Brace yourselves.
And that's it, you've got it!
We made it. Captain, are you all right?
Oh, just fine. That was a great landing, Commander. I couldn't have done better myself.
Say, you took that pretty well.
Oh, I found some calcium seeds back aft. Nothing like 'em for space flying. You have some, Cadet?
This time you've got a customer, Captain. I don't feel so well.
This is Commander Corey.
And Marvin Miller.
Reminding you that pulling up to your breakfast table
is like pulling up to a filling station.
Give him our example, Marvin.
A jet cycle has just pulled into a filling station to get its tank filled.
The man has it filled with ordinary fuel. Listen. Not much go in that jet cycle, is there?
Now listen to the same jet cycle filled with super fuel. That cycle's flying like a rocket now because it's supercharged with super fuel.
Same thing is true for you, gang. To get going in the morning, you need super fuel, too.
So get supercharged the way space patrollers do.
Eat a good breakfast with Instant Ralston, the hot super cereal.
Instant Ralston helps you to think fast.
And act fast.
So remember, when you pull up to your breakfast table, it's just like pulling up to a filling station. You're there for fuel.
Super fuel. So you can get supercharged. Take a tip. Eat a good breakfast with Instant Ralston and get supercharged. Get it today in the red and white checkerboard package. Good hot Ralston.
And now for a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy have gone to the offices of John Crozer to rescue a noted scientist abducted by Crozer.
I know Professor Hegman is somewhere in this building, Crozer. Take us to him.
Why, Commander, you're mistaken.
Oh, no, we're not.
Don't sit there under that sun lamp. Take me to Hegman.
Well, all right, Corey. If you insist.
Hey, my eyes! Turn that lamp off!
Get him, Happy. I can't see. Here's yours, Cadet. Now, Corey, I'm going to finish you off permanently.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Brain Bank and the Space Binoculars, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol!
And now, gang, here's a word from Cadet Happy.
Boys and girls, this is Cadet Happy. Do you know how life-giving oxygen is carried to the cells of the body? By the bloodstream. So when a person loses a great deal of blood in an accident or in sickness, there's not enough blood left to do that job. Result? The person dies. So will you help me save lives by joining the Space Patrol Blood Boosters? It's fun. It's patriotic. So join the Space Patrol Blood Boosters today.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Marvin Miller, Nina Barra, and Norman Jolly. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local newspaper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.
HOJO Radio, where the classics come alive.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy have gone to the offices of John Crozer to rescue a noted scientist abducted by Crozer.
I know Professor Hegman is somewhere in this building, Crozer. Take us to him.
Why, Commander, you're mistaken.
Oh, no, we're not.
Don't sit there under that sun lamp. Take me to Hegman.
Well, all right, Corey, if you insist.
My eyes, turn off that lamp.
Get him, Happy.
I can't see.
Here's yours, cadet. Now, Corey, I am going to finish you off permanently.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Brain Bank and the Space Binoculars.
Wow! Man, oh man, oh man! Yummy!
That boy sounds excited, doesn't he? Well, no wonder. He's just had his first taste of Rice Chex, the delicious bite-sized super cereal.
Wow! Man, oh man, oh man! Yummy!
Same boy, yep, and the same cereal, only it's his second bowl. Try Rice Chex yourself, gang. You'll love it.
I'll say, and when you eat a good breakfast with Rice Chex, you're supercharged.
Absolutely. So, gang, try it today. Delicious Rice Chex. And, hey, today's the day for the biggest news ever announced on Space Patrol. So stand by, and I mean with pencil and paper, for the most sensational message you ever heard on Space Patrol. Not far from Space Patrol headquarters on the man-made planet Terra is the Crozer Building. From his spacious offices on the top floor, John Crozer directs his far-reaching enterprises. It is Crozer's proud boast that his payroll list is virtually a scientific hall of fame, an interplanetary who's who of distinguished men and women in every field of science and technology. His rugged features and penetrating eyes are reflected on the polished surface of his mammoth Endorium desk as he confers with his director of plant operations, Erla Becker, and the noted physicist, Professor David Hegman.
Miss Becker, is there anything else on the agenda which concerns Professor Hegman?
Yes, you wanted me to remind you to congratulate the professor.
Oh, yes, the Kleinhurst medal. I understand you're to receive it at a banquet this evening.
That's right, Mr. Crozer.
Congratulations. You're upholding the Crozer tradition.
The Crozer tradition?
Of course. For the past 3 years, every winner of the Kleinhurst Medal for Scientific Achievement has been associated with Crozer Enterprises.
Oh, I understand that the medal is given for work, which I did before I joined your organization.
Well, I speak in jest, more or less. Well, that completes our conference, Professor.
I have something to tell you, Mr. Crozer.
Yes?
I am forced, with regret, of course, to submit my resignation.
Your resignation? I don't understand, Professor.
Well, it's my doctor's orders. He says my health won't permit me to continue my work for your company.
But you're under contract. You're absolutely necessary to this project.
I am very sorry. But my doctor tells me that unless I retire, I may not last for more than a few months.
This puts my company in an awkward position, Professor. I won't tolerate it.
I regret this as much as you do, Mr. Crozer. But I don't see what I can do about it.
See here, Hegman. It'll take us 3 years to complete construction and install equipment. Your contributions are useful now in our present stage, but they'll be absolutely essential in 3 years from now.
Oh, Mr. Crozer, no one individual is absolutely indispensable. There are other scientists in my field.
Hegman, I hired you because you're the only man alive today who can see this particular phase through to a successful conclusion. This whole operation is geared around you. You can't resign.
Well, my doctor tells me that I have no choice. Surely you don't expect me to endanger my life?
I'm going to have a talk with that doctor of yours.
I'm afraid it won't do you any good, Mr. Crozer. 2 other doctors have confirmed his diagnosis.
Very well. We shall see. Our interview is ended, Hegman. I have other matters to discuss with Miss Becker now.
Goodbye, Mr. Crozer.
Goodbye, Professor.
The nerve of that man. Trying to walk out on me, John Crozer.
I understand how you feel, but as the professor says, it can't be helped.
I'll hold him to his contract. He's got to keep working for me. That project must be finished as I planned.
You can't force him to disobey his doctor's orders, contract or no contract.
Look here, Miss Becker. You're director of plant operations. It's up to you to find a way out of this.
Well, let's face facts. Hegman's brain will be of most value to us 3 years from now. But he's got to retire immediately, so he's out of the picture.
If there were only someone else with his knowledge.
There is one possibility, but it's not legal.
Well, let's hear it.
Suppose Professor Hegman were to be put in suspended animation for 3 years. Then, when he's revived, his health will be exactly as it is now. He'll be able to do a few months of work when he's most needed. Of course, Hegman wouldn't consent to it.
Well, that's immaterial to me. We'll do it by force. That's an admirable idea, Miss Becker. We'll literally be establishing a brain bank. We'll put Hegman's brain on ice till we're ready to use it.
There's only one catch. How are we going to explain his disappearance?
Leave that to me. You locate some suspended animation equipment and get it here. When we get it set up, we'll bring Hegman to my office for one more conference.
Well, nobody seems to know where the professor is, Commander. I've even checked with his doctor.
I've just phoned Crozer. He hasn't seen him either.
Well, maybe the professor forgot about his appointment with you. He could be out with friends celebrating. After all, he's just received the Kleinhurst Medal.
I doubt that he'd forget the appointment, Happy. He seemed very anxious to talk to me. You knew, didn't you, that the professor has to retire?
No. Why, sir?
His doctor warned him that he can't keep up the pace. Oh, by the way, there's something I've been wanting to show you. Here. Have a look at this new Space Patrol equipment.
Binoculars?
Yes. Not just ordinary binoculars, Happy. They're space binoculars.
Can I try them out, sir?
Sure, they're yours.
Gee, they've got a band on them so you don't have to hold on to them. Yeah, the band fastens them around your head.
Right, it leaves your hands free. Now, take a look over the city with them, Happy. I'll take the polarization off the windows.
Wow, these are great, sir. Why, I can even read a small sign on the space terminal building. A sign I can't even see without the binoculars.
Wait till you get out in space, out of the atmosphere of Terra, then you'll really see something.
You mean they're even better out in space?
They're so sensitive, they'll pick up very small objects many miles away. They're designed especially for pilots on search missions. Within a planet's atmosphere, they're good 4-power binoculars.
Wow. Hey, look, there's some people walking 5 blocks away, and it looks as though I could almost reach right out and touch them. Hey, from what you say, Commander, I'd sure like to take a look through them out in space.
Mr. Crozer, this is the most outrageous thing I have ever heard. I refuse to let you do it.
Professor, I'm afraid there's nothing you can do about it.
Don't you know that even if I gave you my consent, it is still illegal for private persons to use the suspended animation process? Now, if you'll unlock the door, Crozer, I'll leave.
Hegman, my friend, you're not leaving. Miss Becker, we might as well get started with the process. Give him the preliminary injection.
All right, Mr. Crozer.
Get away from me.
Hegman, get away from that window.
I wouldn't advise jumping out, Professor. It's a long way to the street.
Yes, and it wouldn't be suspended animation. It would be terminated animation. Go on, Miss Becker. Give him the electronic injection. Get away from there. I've got my hand over his mouth. Quickly, Miss Becker.
Oh, hold him still.
Quit struggling, Hegman, or you'll really get hurt.
There.
How long does it take for the electronic injection to knock him out?
Just a few seconds.
Good.
He's losing consciousness.
All right, Miss Becker. Let's carry him into the suspended animation chamber and finish the process.
Commander, look. I can see the lettering on the windows of the Crozer building. These binoculars are fantastic, even in the atmosphere.
Take a look at Terra Park, Happy. You can probably see the ants and the rose bushes.
Yeah, they aren't that good. But I can see people inside the Crozer building. Look, sir, on the top floor, there's a man standing in the window. I can see him just as plain. Here, sir, try him.
All right, I'll take just one look, but then I think we'd better get to work.
Yes, sir. It's the 4th window from the corner of the building, see?
Yeah, it is clear. Well, that's Professor Hegman.
Huh?
At least I think it is. Oh, he's gone now. Wonder why Crozer didn't have the professor call me. I suppose Hegman's busy closing up his work with Crozer.
Yeah, I think he'd at least phone you.
I'll tell you what, Happy. I've got an errand to make right near the Crozer building. Let's drop in and see the professor on the way over.
I've checked the suspended animation equipment. Everything's working fine, Mr. Crozer.
How long does it take?
Another hour and we'll be through.
Oh, good.
You aren't going to keep him here in the building, are you?
No, in a day or so we'll take him to Mars.
We'll have to take the equipment there, too. We have to give him booster treatments every 3 months. Say, haven't you been under that helio lamp long enough?
Oh, I've got it on low setting. You ought to try it, Miss Becker. It's really very relaxing.
Not as relaxing as that treatment we're giving Hegman.
Yes. He'll be relaxed for 3 years.
Speaking of Hegman, did you see him throw anything out of the window when you were struggling with it?
I know. Did you?
Well, he made a sort of throwing motion with his hand. I think I better go down the street and check.
Yeah, that's right. He certainly didn't have time to scribble any note. But let's not take any chances. Come in.
Hello, Mr. Crozer.
Oh, Commander Corey. Nice to see you.
Thank you. This is Cadet Happy.
How do you do, Cadet?
How do you do, sir?
Sit down, gentlemen. I hope you don't mind if I go on with this lamp treatment. I'm acquiring a tan for myself.
I see you are.
Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity to get it the natural way as you space patrolmen do.
That's quite a high-powered lamp.
Yes, it can be if it's turned up. Have to know how to handle it.
The reason I came over, Mr. Crozer, is to see Professor Hegman.
The professor isn't here. Remember, I told you I'd ask him to call you if he showed up.
We saw him standing by the window of this office just a few minutes ago.
You saw him in the window?
Happy and I were testing some new Space Patrol binoculars. We thought we saw Hegman.
Hegman? You must be mistaken. Oh, I know. One of my attorneys was here a while ago. He's about the same height and build as Hegman. Yes, come to think of it, there is a resemblance. Funny, I never thought about it before.
Well, apparently we made a mistake, Mr. Crozer. Sorry to have bothered you.
No bother at all. No bother at all.
The old fool threw this out of the window. I didn't know there was anyone in here.
We were just leaving, but I've changed my mind. May I see what you have there?
Oh, it's nothing at all.
No, Commander. Just a little promotion gimmick one of our companies is putting out.
May I see it?
Yes, of course.
The Kleinhurst medal, a promotion gimmick?
A Kleinhurst medal?
There's only one man who would have that medal on his person at this time. That would be Professor Hegman.
What are you getting at?
This young lady just said it was thrown out of the window. Well, why would anyone throw a valuable award like this out of a window unless they wanted to attract attention? So give it to me straight, Crozer. Where is Professor Hegman?
You're jumping to conclusions, aren't you, Commander?
That was Hegman we saw. If you're not trying to hide something, why are you and this woman so evasive? Why did you lie about the medal? You've got Hegman somewhere in this building.
I suppose you won't be satisfied until you search the place.
That's right.
All right, then. Come on. I'll just turn this lamp on full power and right in your eyes.
Turn it off.
My eyes. Get him, Happy.
I can't see.
No, but I can. Grab that bookend, Miss Becker. Nice work, Miss Becker. And now, Cadet. That'll hold them for a while.
It was a smart trick, Mr. Crozer, shining that helio sun lamp in their eyes.
I had to do something after that faux pas you pulled.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know they were here.
We've got to move fast. Arrange for a spaceship. We'll get Hegman aboard.
What about these two?
We'll lock them in the next room till we get Hegman out of here. Then I'll come back and finish our Space Patrol friends for good.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment.
Oh, come on, Captain Tufeld. Tell me what Buzz Corey's big new surprise is for all his kids. Won't you, huh?
No, I can't tell you.
Please?
Nope, it's a secret until the end of today's program.
Is it something the commander himself uses?
Oh, you bet it is. It's official Space Patrol equipment.
Can't you really tell me what it is?
Nope, it's a secret.
Well, then, how about a little hint?
Well, I'll tell you this. It's something absolutely new and different.
Oh, man, I just can't wait.
Well, you hurry now, get a pencil and paper ready, and keep listening, because in just a few moments, I'll tell you what the big surprise is and how you can get it. And all you boys and girls listening in, you do the same thing. Get pencil and paper ready, and be all set to take down the information you need to get that wonderful new surprise Buzz Corey has for you. So long for now. See you at the end of today's program, when I'll tell you all about the biggest, the swellest, the most exciting value ever offered on Space Patrol.
John Crozer and his assistant, Erla Vecker, have placed Professor Hegman in suspended animation, intending to revive him 3 years later to finish vital scientific work on a vast project Crozer is managing. When Commander Corey and Cadet Happy decided to search the building for the professor, Crozer blinded them with a beam from a high-powered helio sun lamp and then knocked out the virtually defenseless space patrolman. Buzz and Happy have just regained consciousness and their vision and find themselves locked in a room.
It's no use, Happy. We can't break down that door.
We must be in the Crozer building, judging by the view from the window.
Yeah, on the top floor.
And Crozer's probably miles away by now with the professor.
I doubt it. He wouldn't go away without being sure we'd never be able to report him. He'll be back.
And then I've got a feeling we'd better get out of here before he returns.
Let's take a look out the window.
Say, maybe we can attract the attention of somebody in another building. Oh, it's locked, too.
Yeah. There's a ledge out there. If we break the window, we could crawl on the ledge to another window.
And that's not my idea of a pleasant stroll, 50 stories up.
It's not mine either, but it's a lot safer than what Crozer has in mind for us. Yeah, this chair ought to do the trick. Turn your head, Happy. Watch out for the glass.
You want me to go first, sir?
Wait till I knock these sharp splinters loose. Hey, let's go. I'll boost you up.
I can make it now, sir. Wow, what a long way down to the street.
Don't look down, Happy. Lie flat on the ledge and crawl.
Yes, sir.
I hope we can find another open window along here.
I wish this ledge was wider. I feel like a tightrope walker.
Oh, easy, Happy.
Oh, my knee slipped off. For a minute, I thought I was a goner.
Don't try to hurry.
Commander, we're in luck.
Is that window unlocked?
Yes, sir, and it's partway open. All I have to do is push it.
Easy now. Don't push yourself off the ledge. Anybody inside?
I don't see anybody. Well, here goes. Nobody in here, sir.
Watch the door.
How are you going to do away with Corey and the cadet?
You unlock the door. Swing it open. I'll blast them with this gun before they have a chance to rush us. Open the door, and be sure and stand back.
Don't worry.
All right, Corey, we'll... They're gone.
Gone?
This room's empty. Look at the window.
Well, they couldn't have climbed down the side of the building.
Yeah, they certainly wouldn't jump. The ledge. They used the ledge. By now, they've probably given an alarm. This whole building will be swarming with space patrolmen soon.
Well, what'll we do?
We've got to get out of here. We'll have to forget about the equipment. We've got to get to the spaceport and blast off right away. Hurry, Arla. We haven't a second to spare.
Take it easy, Happy. All right. Open the door.
Well, there's nobody in here either. Just some equipment of some kind.
Some men's clothing, coat and a hat.
What kind of equipment is this, sir?
Suspended animation equipment.
Oh, that's what they use in criminal rehabilitation centers to help cure criminal tendencies.
Yes, but how did Crozer get hold of it? And what for?
I thought it was against the law for private individuals to have these.
Well, that wouldn't stop Crozer. But why would he want this equipment? Why would he want to put under... Professor.
What?
That must be it. With the professor in suspended animation, he'd be easier to conceal.
Well, sure, but what good would the professor be if he was unconscious?
Crozer could revive him whenever he needed him, even months or years from now.
I wonder what Crozer did with him.
He'd try to get him off Terra. Let's go to the spaceport, Happy. Happy, I've just checked with the space control dispatcher. There was a slip-up. Crozer blasted off.
Didn't they try to stop him?
The order to hold him wasn't relayed to the dispatcher in time.
How long ago did Crozer blast off?
About 15 minutes ago. But I've got a description of his ship. Come on, Hap, let's get aboard Terra 5. We're going after them.
That was luck. I was afraid they'd stop us at the spaceport.
Look in the viewscope. There's a ship following us.
The space patrol.
Yeah, we are in a spot. We can't outrun that ship.
No, but we can get rid of the professor. Corey doesn't find Hegman on the ship. He can't prove anything against us.
Well, what do you intend to do? Just shove the chamber out into space?
Yeah. Chances are the professor will never be found. Come on, we've got to get rid of Hegman, and then we'll take our evasive action. Corey won't stand a chance of locating that box with Hegman in it.
We're gaining on them, sir. All that crazy flying Crozer's doing isn't getting him anywhere.
He's trying to delay the inevitable as long as possible. Maybe I can talk some sense into him. Turn on the spacephone, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Commander Corey aboard Terra 5 calling John Crozer in private cruiser T431. Commander Corey calling John Crozer.
This is Crozer. Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
This hide-and-seek isn't getting you anywhere. It's just a matter of minutes. Play it smart and give up.
You talked me into it, Corey. But at least I gave you a run for your money. What do you want me to do?
We'll pull alongside and join airlocks.
All right, Corey.
Just a warning, Crozer. Don't try anything. Corey out.
They've joined airlocks with us.
All right. Have you got the electronic injection?
Yes, it's right here.
Yeah, they won't suspect anything from you. Watch your chance and use it on Corey. I'll jump the cadet. He won't be in your way. And then when they're unconscious, they can join Professor Hegman out there in space. All right, Earl. Here they are. Careful, don't make any slips.
All right, Crozer. Get your hands up.
Of course, Commander.
Searching for weapons, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Where's Professor Hegman?
Professor Hegman? Why, we haven't the slightest idea.
Come on, quit stalling. What did you do with him?
We haven't got him. Search the ship if you don't believe me.
That's just what we will do.
He doesn't have any weapons on him, sir.
All right, keep your gun on them, Happy, while I search the ship.
All right, lady. Get over there next to Crozer.
My name is Erla Vecker, and I'll be glad to. Oh, excuse me. Commander?
Oh, no, you don't. What have you got there?
Let go of me.
Open your hand. Come on, Erla. That's it. Well, electronic injector.
I'll take that gun, cadet.
Oh, no, you don't. All right, Crozer.
Hey, nice one, Commander.
Don't try anything like that again, Crozer. And no tricks from you either, Erla.
It's lucky you saw her with that electronic injector, sir. You should have had us in deep freeze.
That was a very foolish move on your part, Erla. Now you're in this just as deep as Crozer. Now let's have it. Where's Hegman?
All right, I'll tell you, but you'll never find him. He's somewhere out in space.
What? You threw him out of the ship?
That's right. All sealed up in a nice cozy box. Chances are he'll float forever in space, in suspended animation.
Happy, get these two into our ship. We'll cut loose and start a search. They're going to stay right with us till we find them.
Nothing, sir. That blip turned out to be a small meteor.
You're just wasting your time, Corey. That box with Hegman in it is just a speck in space. Your viewscopes won't show it unless you happen to be very close.
We'll just keep looking.
I've got the viewscope on full sensitivity and wide scanning, sir.
I'm afraid the viewscope isn't much help. Well, here, let's try these.
The space binoculars.
It's a long chance, but it might work. Scan in a slow arc, Happy.
There's something. Oh, no, it's just another meteor.
Let me have a look. Hey, wait a minute. It's a rectangular shape. Check it, Happy, about 10 degrees high.
I see it, sir. Yeah, it's a box, all right. That's it, we found it.
Change vector, Hap. Let's hope we're not too late. There it is, Happy.
Yeah, I can see it now through the viewscope, even without the binoculars.
Stand by to fire forward braking rockets.
Standing by, sir.
Fire rockets. Yeah, that'll stop us, Happy. All right, get the spacesuits. We'll pull the box into the ship. And Crozer, we'll just lock you and Erla in a compartment till we get the professor aboard.
Why don't you sit down and relax, Crozer? You'll wear out the commander's carpet.
Why don't we hear from the hospital?
Yeah, you're pretty worried now, aren't you, Crozer? You know, if Professor Hegman doesn't come out of that deep freeze, it's going to go mighty hard on you and Erla.
Well, they should know by now.
Oh, for Saturn's sake. Sit down and stop that pacing.
Oh, here's the commander.
Crozer, look who's with him.
Professor Hegman.
That's right. It's certainly lucky for you two that the professor pulled through that treatment.
Yes. And, Mr. Crozer, it will give me a great deal of pleasure to testify against you.
Well, then show me with more of his work than the doctor first thought.
Well, in that case, we actually did you a service, Professor. Commander, that should be taken into account.
Don't think you're going to get off easy on that account.
It's just luck, and the fact that we had these space binoculars that saved the professor.
Yes, Happy. I had no idea that the binoculars would actually help us save a life.
You sure were right about their being terrifically powerful out in space. And they're great in a normal atmosphere, too.
I'm not going to lose any time in issuing them to all Space Patrol personnel.
Sir, did you know that when you look through the binoculars the wrong way, you can see into the future?
Oh, I was under the impression that they just smallify. But if you say so.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It just makes objects look far away.
Uh-huh. And far away, I see a criminal rehabilitation center with two people in it. John Crozer and Erla Vecker. And they're getting the same kind of treatment they gave Professor Hegman, suspended animation. You want to have a look?
In just a moment, we'll give you an exciting preview of next week's thrill-packed Space Patrol adventure. But first, gang, oh boy, first of all, here's that big, wonderful surprise we promised you. Get your pencil and paper, get all set to go. This is the greatest value we've ever offered on Space Patrol. Commander Corey, you tell the gang what this terrific new item is.
Boys and girls, our surprise for you is a pair of those wonderful new Space Patrol space binoculars. Binoculars like the ones I used today when I spied the professor floating in that box way, way off in the distance, remember?
Gang, you'll be able to see way, way off in the distance with the Space Patrol binoculars you get, too. Yes, sir, these binoculars are 4 power binoculars with 4 lenses. And when you look through them, they make people, houses, buildings, cars, everything else blocks and blocks away look bigger and nearer and clearer. No adjusting necessary. The lenses are fixed focus lenses. Why, you don't even have to hold these wonderful binoculars up to your eyes. You wear them like official outer space headgear. They have a strong elastic band on them, and when you slip it over your head, it holds the binoculars in place and leaves your hands absolutely free. Makes you look like a man from Mars, because these binoculars stand out from your eyes a full 3.5 inches.
That's right. These are not flimsy little celluloid goggles or a mask. These are real, full-size binoculars. Overall, they're 5 inches wide, 5 inches long, and they're made of solid plastic. Beautiful, long-lasting black solid plastic with bright red leather-like trimming that makes them look terrific.
Now, don't forget, you can see way off in the distance with them. You can spot your dad coming home from work, spot the mailman coming blocks away. You can watch birds in high trees, study animals, identify people in the distance, read signs way, way off, and see airplanes way up in the sky.
And when you look through the other end of your space binoculars, they do a switcheroo. They make close-up things look like they're far away from you.
Yes, sir, gang, these powerful Space Patrol space binoculars are the greatest value we've ever offered on Space Patrol. To get a pair, do this. Buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in continental USA and may be withdrawn at any time.
If you don't agree that yours are absolutely tops, return them. We'll return your money.
That address again is Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Buzz and Happy are approaching a building where the Secretary General's daughter Carol is held captive. Suddenly, they become aware of a tingling, painful sensation and a ringing in their ears.
Hey, it's getting hard to walk. I feel like I had a big weight on me.
I can hardly move either, Happy. Nora must be using some kind of ray on us.
A paralyzer ray?
I think it may be worse than that. They're undoubtedly in an ultrasonic beam. Get back to the ship. Get out of range quickly.
I can't. I can't make it.
Happy, get up. You've got to get up. Here, I'll help you.
I can't even crawl. My head, there's 1,000 needles in it.
If we don't get out of this beam, it'll tear us to pieces.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Sleepwalker, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Virginia Hewitt, Ken Mayer, David Duval, and Bela Kovac. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.
Our next broadcast was an American media franchise created by Robert Arthur and David Kogan. The radio anthology series debuted in 1943 and ran until 1952. The concept was later adapted to magazine and comic book format. We present to you The Mysterious Traveler, right here on HOJO Radio.
The Mysterious Traveler.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and terrifying. I hope you will enjoy this little trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves. But where are we going? We're going to delve into the life of a frightened man in a tale titled The Queen of the Cats. Some years ago, when I was practicing medicine, I was called upon by a young girl of 22 or so. As she was shown into my office, I could see that she was having a difficult time suppressing her agitation. Her lips trembled as she spoke.
Dr. Smith, My name is Jane Elliott. I have an appointment with you.
Yes, Miss Elliott. Here, won't you be seated, please?
Thank you.
Now, what seems to be the trouble, Miss Elliott? You're trembling. You don't look well at all.
I'm not ill, Doctor. It's Chris. Chris Arnold, my fiancé. Oh, Doctor, you've got to help him. If you don't, something terrible will happen.
Well, I'll do everything I can, Miss Elliott. Now, tell me what's wrong.
I don't know what's wrong. All I know is that Chris is frightened. He's in deadly fear of something.
Has he told you what it is that frightens him?
No, I've questioned him countless times, but he refuses to tell me.
I see. Where's your fiancé now?
At his home, Brookfield Manor. Oh, Doctor, I know it's late, but won't you come with me and see Chris? He needs help desperately.
There, Miss Elliott. You mustn't cry. Of course I'll come with you. And I'll do what I can.
Who is it?
Chris, it's Jane.
Just a minute. Jane, I've asked you before not to... Who's he?
Darling, this is Dr. Smith. Doctor, this is my fiancé, Chris Arnold.
How do you do, Mr. Arnold?
Why the devil did you bring him? I don't need a doctor.
Please, darling, I just couldn't stand
Forgive
to
me,
see
Mr.
you.
Arnold, but it's obvious to the most untrained eye you do need a doctor.
Please, Chris, tell the doctor what you're afraid of.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Oh, darling, please tell him, please. You can't go on this way.
Yes, you're right. I can't go on this way. If I don't tell someone, I'll go mad.
Believe me, Mr. Arnold, you'll feel much better once you've talked your fears out. Now, suppose you start from the beginning and tell me everything.
All right, Doctor. Come on in. I suppose it all began 2 years ago at a party Jane and I were invited to.
Oh, Chris, isn't this a wonderful party?
The only thing wonderful about it is you.
Oh, Chris, don't. People are watching.
A fine thing when a man can't kiss his best girl in public. What's this generation coming to, anyway?
At Miss Tyndall's school, we were taught a young lady never kisses a man in public.
Miss Tyndall is setting romance back 50 years. Who are you looking for, anyway?
Rana Farouk, my roommate at Miss Tyndall's.
Oh, yes, she's the Egyptian girl you were telling me about.
Yes, I want you to meet her. Only you'd better not fall in love with her as every other man does.
Sounds as though she's a second Cleopatra.
Men just can't seem to be able to resist her.
Well, I'm curious to see this siren of the Nile.
Oh, there she is, Chris. Come on.
So that's Rana. No wonder men can't resist her.
Hello, Jane. I've missed you.
Rana, this is Chris Arnold. Chris, this is Rana Farouk.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Rana.
Oh, look, there's Miss Tyndall waving to me. Excuse me, won't you?
Of course, Jane.
I'll be back in a minute.
You know, Chris, at Miss Tyndall's, the first thing I'd see in the morning when I got up, and the last thing before I went to bed was your picture. And I always knew that someday we should meet. And now we have. Why are you staring at me like that? Aren't you going to say anything?
I prefer just to look. Even now, Doctor, 2 years after our first meeting, I find it difficult to describe how beautiful Rana was. She had lustrous black hair that came down to her shoulders and sparkling green eyes that bewitched you. No words can do her beauty justice. I was captivated the moment I saw her.
I see. What happened after that first meeting?
Rana seemed also attracted to me. After that night, we saw each other constantly.
You did?
Nothing seemed to matter to me when I was with her. And it made me indescribably happy to learn she felt the same way. A month after we'd met, we were married.
Please go on, Mr. Arnold.
After we were married, we took an apartment in town. In the months that followed, I began to see Rana not as the image I'd been infatuated with, but as she really was, vain, selfish, and possessive.
It was a possessiveness verging on madness. She couldn't bear to have me out of her sight, and when I was, upon my return, there would be questions, countless questions. I began to dread seeing her. And then there were the cats.
The cats?
Yes. She had an insane passion for them.
Yes, when Ronna and I were at school together, Doctor, she always had a few cats around. She said that she couldn't live without
The apartment
them.
was always full of cats. She'd sit for hours stroking them, whispering to them until I felt I'd go mad. Life became a nightmare for me, a nightmare full of cats. And Ronna asking questions, endless questions. One day, I realized I couldn't go on living with her any longer, that our marriage had been a mistake. I decided to tell her about it that very evening. May I come in, Ronna?
Of course, dear.
Ronna, there's something important I want to talk to you about.
Oh, please, Chris, there's so little time just now. We can talk later after the party.
But, Ronna, this is important. I think that...
Darling, whatever you have to say can wait. Now, please hurry.
But... Well, all right. We'll discuss what I have to say later.
Chris, when I called you at the office this afternoon, why didn't you tell me that you had had lunch with Mary Walker?
What? How did you know I had lunch with her?
Oh, a friend told me.
A friend? Who was it?
What is it, my beauty? What are you trying to say?
Ronna, put that cat down and answer me. Who was the friend that told you I had lunch with Mary Walker?
You have never met her, darling.
How is it that you always know what I've been doing, whom I've been seeing? It's as though you have people spying on me.
Chris, what a thing to say. Now, please hurry or we'll be late.
There's something strange about the way you always know what I've been doing. Sometimes I suspect...
Chris, look out. You stepped on Sabina's tail.
I'm sorry, but I didn't see it.
I've asked you before to be more careful. Poor Sabina. Are you all right now, my beauty?
If there weren't so many cats underfoot, I wouldn't have stepped on her. Why must you have 5 cats around?
Because I love cats. They're beautiful, sacred. Thousands of years ago, my ancestors worshipped cats, and the great cat goddess Sekhmet. On the river Nile, close by the ancient city of Hamadi, where I was born, are the graves of 100,000 sacred cats. They have been mummified and buried with reverence.
Ronna, I can't go on like this anymore.
My darling, what do you mean?
I feel our marriage was a mistake. I want a divorce.
Chris, you can't be serious.
But I am.
I love you, Chris, and I won't give you up. You're mine, darling. You always will be. Nothing shall ever separate us.
Would you care for a cocktail, sir?
No, thank you.
Well, even if you won't have one, Mr. Arnold, I will.
Jane, it's good to see you again. Just let me look at you.
Chris, you're not looking well at all. Are you all right?
I am now. Jane, can't we go someplace and talk? What about the terrace?
All right, Chris.
Here, this door opens onto it. Yeah, this is much better. It's been quite some time since we've seen each other, hasn't it?
Yes, the last time we saw each other was the night that...
The night that I met Ronna.
Yes. How is Ronna, Chris?
Oh, she's fine. Jane, I've made such a mess out of everything. I was a fool to have married her.
Please, Chris, you mustn't talk like that.
But I was a fool, Jane. Mistaking infatuation for love. Can you ever forgive me for the way I behaved toward you?
There's nothing to forgive, Chris.
Well, Jane, this is a surprise.
Ronna.
Hello, Ronna.
Really, Jane, the way you've avoided calling on us, I half suspect you are still in love with Chris.
Ronna, you had no right to talk to her like that.
Please, Chris, I'm afraid I'll have to be leaving. It's getting quite late. Good night.
Good night, Jane.
I hope I didn't interrupt anything by coming out here so unexpectedly, Chris.
Yes, Ronna, you did. I was about to tell Jane that I love her, and that I always will.
I suppose that's why you asked me for a divorce. You've been secretly seeing her.
Secretly seeing her? Is it possible for me to see anyone or do anything secretly without your knowing about it?
No, you are quite right. It is not possible. I know everything you do. So I would forget Jane if I were you.
Rana, how can you possibly want me, knowing how I feel about Jane? You've got to give me a divorce.
I'll never give you a divorce. Never. You hear? You're mine. You always will be.
Yes? Well, what's to prevent me from leaving you?
Wherever you go, Chris, I'll follow. If I can't have you, no one else ever will. Remember, Chris, you're mine. You always will be.
I can still see her, Doctor, as she stood there screaming at me. Remember, Chris, you're mine, and you always will be. It was a shock to suddenly realize that she looked like a cat, an angry cat. Her green eyes, cold and murderous, her long nails digging into my arms, her body tense. For a moment, I thought she was going to scratch my eyes out.
Yes, Rana did look like that when she was in a rage.
What happened after that night, Mr. Arnold?
I stopped speaking to Rana. We lived in the same apartment, but that was all. Weeks passed, and Rana waited for me to come around, as she felt certain I would.
Yes.
She had all the patience of a cat playing with a mouse. But when a month had passed and I still refused to talk to her, she made an attempt to win me back. It happened one night as we were driving to this house. Why are you slowing down, Rana?
I want to talk to you, Chris, and I can't talk to you while I'm driving.
There's no point in your stopping. We have nothing to say to each other.
Oh, but we do, darling. Chris, we could be so happy together if you wanted to. You know how much I love you.
It's a possessive love that smothers me to death.
Chris, you know that isn't true. I could make you happy if you don't let me. Oh, please don't turn away from me, Chris. I'll do anything to make you happy. Anything.
Anything? And you can give me a divorce.
So you're still thinking of her, hoping I'll give you a divorce so you can marry her. Well, I won't. Do you hear? I won't.
I think we'd better be moving along.
Chris, you haven't any right to treat me like this. I'm your wife.
Only in the eyes of the law, not in my eyes.
I hate you. I hate you!
You can't! You almost took out my eyes with those claws of yours.
I will scratch your eyes out before I let any other woman have you. You're mine. You always will be.
Perhaps this will bring you to your senses. Slide over. I'll drive.
Very well, Chris. You think you've beaten me, Chris. But you haven't. In the end, you'll come crawling to me. It may take a year, 2 years, 5 years. But I can wait.
I'll never come crawling to you. Never.
But you will, Chris. Jane knows I'll never give you your freedom. In time, she'll marry. And when she does, all the heart will be gone out of you. Then you'll be mine.
That'll never happen.
But it will, Chris. And deep down in your heart, you know I'm right. Jane will never be yours. I'll see to that.
You have everything planned perfectly, Rana, don't you? But I have one way of escape from you that you've never thought of.
Really? And what way is that?
I can escape through death.
Death?
Yes, Rana. If I should fail to take the curve 100 yards ahead, we'd plunge off the side of this mountain.
Chris, you would.
Why not, Rana? You've shown me there's nothing to live for. This at least is a clean way out.
No! Chris, don't!
When I drove the car over the side of the mountain, Doctor, I thought Rana and I were going to our deaths. But fate decreed otherwise. When I recovered consciousness 48 hours later in a hospital, I learned it was only Rana who died.
Yes, I recall reading about it in the papers. It was a miracle that you survived.
Yes. For weeks, they despaired of saving me. But at the end of 8 months, I walked out of that hospital. The police believed my story that it was an accident. And I was free to begin a new life. It was just a week after I was discharged from the hospital that I ran into Jane.
Chris! Oh, Chris, it's you.
Janie, you always seem to pop up just when I need you most.
Chris, you look so much older. Are you all right?
Well, my heart isn't any too good, but otherwise I'm fine. And seeing you again is just what I need to put me on my feet.
These past months must have been so difficult for you.
I don't want to look back to the past, Jane, but only to the future. The future I once hoped we'd share, and still do. 2 months ago, Doctor, Jane and I became engaged. It was just about that time that I first began to notice that everywhere I went, there always seemed to be a cat following me.
Are you sure you weren't imagining it, Mr. Arnold?
At first, I thought it was my imagination. But a week after Jane and I became engaged, I was certain I was being followed.
Tell me, Mr. Arnold, was it always the same cat that followed you?
No. One day it'd be one cat, and another day a different one. Oh, I know you must think I'm mad, Doctor. And at the time I felt I was going mad. That is, until that night.
What night, Mr. Arnold?
The night I saw her. It happened in this very room 6 weeks ago. I had great difficulty in falling asleep that night. Suddenly, the silence was broken by the faint crying of a cat. The crying grew louder and louder. I lay in the darkness listening, realizing that the cat crying was real, living, and in my room. I could feel my heart pounding as I sat up in bed and looked about my darkened room. And then suddenly I saw her. 2 burning green eyes in the darkness. There was no mistaking those eyes. They were Rana's. I stared into those eyes for what seemed like hours. Then, as though listening to a stranger's voice, I heard myself speak. Rana! It is you, Rana, isn't it? Yes. I'd recognize those green eyes anywhere. So you've come back, and in the form I've always thought of you, as a cat. I know why you've come back. It's because of Jane. You always said that if you couldn't have me, no one else could. That I was yours, and always would be. Well, you're wrong, do you hear? Jane and I are going to be married. You came between us once, but you aren't going to this time. I will marry you, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. You fiend! Trying to scratch my eyes out. Well, we'll see about that. There. Perhaps that'll show you that nothing you can do will stop me from marrying her. I know that all those cats that were following me, spying on me, were doing so under your orders. You're the queen of the cats! Yes, I should have known. No wonder you always knew where I'd been, who I'd seen. You had your cats spying on me even then. Well, even if you are the queen of the cats, you can't prevent me from marrying Jane. Perhaps a bullet between those green eyes of yours is what's needed. I emptied the gun at her, Doctor, and then turned on the lights. There was no sign of her. She'd vanished. All that I found were those 6 bullet holes in the wall.
Tell me, Mr. Arnold, isn't it possible that you only dreamed all that? That actually you fired the gun in your sleep and the shots themselves wakened you?
I tried to tell myself that, Doctor. But during the nights that followed, I knew it was not a dream. For night after night, she appeared in my room. I'd lie awake, waiting to hear her footsteps, her voice. And when she would appear, I'd plead with her to leave me alone. But she'd only stare at me with those burning green eyes, waiting. I knew she'd never leave me alone as long as I intended to marry Jane. Finally, I could stand it no longer, and I went to see Jane.
Chris, this is a surprise. Come in, darling.
Thank you, Jane.
Oh, well, where have you been keeping yourself this past week? I was beginning to believe I was being jilted.
Jane, there's something I want to ask you.
Yes, Chris, of course. What is it?
I know we set our wedding for next week. But couldn't we put it off for a while? Just a little while.
Darling, what is it? There's something wrong. I know there is. Please tell me.
I wish I could, but I can't. Please, Jane, just have faith in me. You know I wouldn't postpone our marriage if I could possibly help it.
All right, Chris, I do have faith in you. We'll consider our marriage postponed for the time being.
night I put off my marriage to Jane, Doctor, was the first night that Rana didn't appear. And the first night in a week that I'd been able to sleep.
You think, Mr. Arnold, that she didn't appear again because you would postpone your marriage to Jane?
I know it. Weeks went by, weeks in which I was able to sleep soundly without being awakened by her. And I came to think that perhaps it had all been part of a horrible nightmare, and that I was over it at last. A week ago, I asked Jane to set the date for our wedding. She did so. And that same day, we took out a marriage license. But that night, she appeared again. Her eyes shining in the dark, cold and murderous. She knew about the license. That's why she returned.
And you've seen her again?
Yes, every night. She just keeps staring at me with those green eyes, waiting. She's determined not to give me any rest. I tell myself that I mustn't be afraid, but I keep hearing her voice over and over. If I can't have you, no one else will. You're mine, and you always will be.
Oh, Chris, darling, I wish I'd known all this before.
Do you feel, Mr. Arnold, that somehow she'll prevent you from marrying Jane? Huh?
I know I sound mad, but I do. I have a feeling something horrible will happen if I attempt to marry her.
Do you still have the marriage license?
Yes. Why do you ask?
Mr. Arnold, you've reached a crisis in your life. You're faced with fears that are threatening to overwhelm your sanity. The only way for you to challenge your fears is to go through with your marriage to Jane now, tonight.
Tonight?
Yes. It's quite late, but I'm sure a friend of mine who's a judge will marry you.
Get married tonight?
If you hesitate, you're lost. Your only chance is to face your fears.
All right, Doctor. All right. Jane, will you marry me tonight?
Oh, yes, Chris. Yes.
I'm sorry to get you up in the middle of the night, Judge, but for reasons I can't explain, it's important that these two be married tonight.
That's quite all right, Doc. Always glad to oblige a friend. Have you got the license and the ring, young man?
Yes, sir. Here's the license and the ring.
Now, young man, if you'll take her right hand. That's it. Now, shall I give you the long ceremony or the short one?
The short one, please.
Just as you say, young lady. This is the shortest one I've got. Do you, Jane Elliott, take this man to be your lawful wedded husband, to love, honor, and obey as long as ye both shall live?
I do.
Do you, Christopher Arnold, take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, to love, honor, and cherish as long as you both shall live?
It's she. It's Rana.
Chris, please, it's only a black cat. You mustn't pay any attention to it.
Of course not. Now,
it's Rana, I tell you. Look at her eyes. I told you she was trying to prevent my marrying Jane. Well, I'll get rid of her once and for all.
Chris, what are you doing with that gun? Put it down.
She got away. Well, whatever she's gone, I'll find her and kill her.
Chris, come back. Oh, Doctor, where can he be?
Now, Jane, he can't be far off. We'll find him.
Oh,
Listen.
Doctor, that must be Chris firing that gun.
Come on. Those shots came from close by.
Hurry!
We better take it easy now, Doc. It's pretty dark out here.
Wait a moment, and I'll light my cigarette lighter.
Doc! Look, a dead cat!
Yes. It was shot through the head.
Say, look. Here's another one that's been shot to death.
Neither one of them is the black cat.
Say, Doc, isn't that a body over there?
Chris!
No, Jane, you stay with the judge while I look.
All right, Doctor.
There, miss. You mustn't cry.
This never would have happened if I hadn't agreed to bury him. He was afraid. So afraid.
Doc! Is it Arnold?
Yes. Yes, it's he.
He's dead, isn't he? I can see it in your face.
Yes, Jane. He's dead.
But, Doc, what happened to him?
He's been clawed to bits. as if by hundreds of cats. And most horrible of all, his eyes have been scratched out. This is the mysterious traveler again. Have you enjoyed our little trip into the life, or should I say, death of a frightened man? Strangely enough, 2 days later, at Chris Arnold's funeral, just as the coffin was being lowered into the grave, the mourners suddenly noticed a black cat with green eyes sitting on the edge of the grave, quietly licking its paws. By the way, I trust you haven't a cat in your home, particularly a black one. I once knew a woman, she's dead now, who had a... Oh, you're getting off at the next stop, huh? I'm sorry. Perhaps you'll join me again soon. I take this same train every week at the same time.
You have just heard Chapter 31 of The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. In today's story, Queen of the Cats, Stutz Cotsworth played Chris, Sarah Burton played Rana, and Sandra Gould played Jane. The Mysterious Traveler is written by Bob Arthur and David Cogan, and original music was played by Doc Whipple. The entire production was under the direction of Jock McGregor. Listen next week to a tale titled
Broadway, Here I Come.
Another tale of the Mysterious Traveler. The Mysterious Traveler is presented by WOR Mutual from the WOR studios in New York. It is presented over most of these stations every Sunday afternoon at 3:30.
This is Mutual.
Stay tuned to HOJO Radio.
The Mysterious Traveler.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerve, and be comfortable, if you can. Where are we going? Why, we're going to follow the adventures of a man who thought he could commit murder and escape punishment. I call the story Death Laughs Last. It was while I was practicing medicine in an eastern city that Edward Harrison brought his wife Mary to me for an examination. I could see at a glance that she was dangerously ill. When I had finished my examination, however, I tried to conceal her true condition from her till I had a chance to speak privately to her husband.
It isn't anything serious, is it, Dr. Smith? Oh, please tell me that it isn't.
Well, I'm afraid it's too soon to say, Mrs. Harrison. Until the X-ray plates are ready, I can't say yes or no.
But...
Now your husband is waiting outside. He's probably beginning to worry, so...
Oh, yes, of course.
Here's your wife, Mr. Harrison. You must have thought I'd kidnapped her.
No, but I was getting a little worried, Doctor. I hope you didn't find anything very wrong.
Well, I took several X-rays, but I won't be able to tell much until they're developed. I'd like your wife to come back day after tomorrow, if she can.
Of course, Doctor. What time would be the best?
Well, any time that's convenient to you. Now, I'll write out a prescription your husband can have filled. Will you step in for a moment, Mr. Harrison?
Sure thing. With you in a moment, Mary.
Of course, darling.
Sit down, won't you, Mr. Harrison?
All right. Now, what is it, Doctor?
Mr. Harrison, your wife is dangerously ill.
Does that mean she's going to die?
Her only hope is a brain operation. A very difficult and delicate operation. Without it, well, I could only give her 6 months, a year at most.
No, it mustn't be. She's got to have the operation, you hear?
I must tell you, Mr. Harrison, that only one man in this country has the necessary skill for the operation your wife needs. He's Dr. Howard Richards, and naturally he's in great demand. His average fee for an operation is about $1,500.
$1,500?
Well, of course, if you can't afford that, you might consider the circumstances and...
No, I can afford it. I can afford anything Mary needs.
Well, then I'll get in touch with him at once.
Yeah, sure. You make the arrangements right away, and I'll get a hold of the money. I'll get it to you by tomorrow, sure.
Darling, help me off with my coat, will you?
Oh, sure, Mary. Yeah. How are you feeling?
Oh, much better since Dr. Smith gave me that medicine in his office.
He's a swell doctor. He'll fix you up in no time.
Did he tell you anything more, Edward?
Not a thing, except that the treatment might take a little time, that's all.
A little time? Oh, dear, I hope it won't be too expensive. Your business hasn't been good, and we've used up all the money in our savings account, and...
Oh, don't you fret about money. Don't you worry about anything.
All right, darling, I won't. Oh, but aren't you going to take your coat off?
No, I've got to get the prescription the doctor gave me filled. You just take it easy till I get back. I might stop in at the shop, too. There's something I've got to attend to there. Mr. Danvers, I'm Ed Harrison.
Oh, yes, Mr. Harrison. Please sit down. I see that you want to borrow $1,500 from us.
That's right.
Unfortunately, the security you offer, your home...
Well, what's wrong with it? It's a swell little house, good section, all in good repair.
Yes, that's true, but you already have a first and second mortgage on it, totaling $4,000, and, well, I'm afraid we can't make any further loans on it.
But I've got to have the money. I've just got to.
I'm sorry to hear that, because there's nothing we can do to help you. Nothing we can do. You say you're not employed, Mr. Harrison?
No, I own a shop. I'm a locksmith.
Well, that means you're never certain of your income. If you had a job now, a regular income you could depend on...
What are you getting at? You mean you're not going to let me have the money?
I certainly wish I could, but under the circumstances... Well, I'm sorry, very sorry, but there's nothing I can do.
I'm afraid the collateral you suggest isn't satisfactory, Mr. Harrison. We'd lend you the money if we could, but we just can't. Sorry.
But I've got to have it. I've just got to.
Sorry.
It's to save Mary's life. She'll die if I
Sorry.
don't. And I won't let her die. I won't.
Sorry. Sorry.
Look,
Sorry.
you must
Sorry.
listen. You must.
Edward, you aren't eating. Oh, and you're so quiet. Dear, is there anything wrong?
What? Oh, no, of course not.
You're worrying about me, aren't you?
What? No, Mary. I was just thinking about making some changes at the shop. And...
Darling, you don't have to lie to me. I know I'm not well, but I'm going to get better. Really, I am, I promise.
Of course you are. Dr. Smith said so. You're going to be well in no time. Now I've got to go out. I have an appointment over the other side of the city with Horace Latimer. He wants to see me about something. Something important.
Edward had no appointment with Horace Latimer, but went to see Horace anyway. For he and Horace had been boyhood friends. Then their paths had separated, and Horace had grown wealthy. But in his desperation, Edward Harrison hoped that Horace would remember the past and would lend him the money he'd been trying to raise all day. Horace could spare it easily. But would he?
1,500? That's rather a lot of money, Ed.
I know it is, Horace, but it's for Mary, for an operation. I've got to have it.
Yes. Why don't you try the bank? You have a house, a business.
I have tried the bank and all the personal loan companies in town. They all turned me down, said the security wasn't good enough.
I see. Well, that's too bad. But I don't quite understand why you came to me, Ed.
Because we're friends, that's why. Because when we were boys, we agreed that we'd each of us always lend the other a helping hand if we could.
Boys don't understand business very well, I'm afraid, Ed.
No, I suppose not. They don't understand business. They just understand friendship. You know, if I had the money and you needed it, I'd lend it to you in a minute.
I don't doubt that at all, Ed. And you can bet I'd lend it to you if I had it. But that's the trouble. I haven't any ready cash. The income tax, you know, and a couple of shaky investments that I had to bolster up lately.
All right, Horace, never mind explaining. I get the idea. You're not going to lend me the money.
No, really, Ed, I would if I could, but I can't. I'm sorry,
Save your
but
sorrow for somebody else. I don't need your money, you hear? I'll get it someplace else. Yes, I'll get it. Somehow.
After he had slammed out of Horace Latimer's expensive home, Edward stood for a moment on the dark street corner, staring back with bitterness in his face.
Sorry. Yes, you're sorry. In a pig's eye, you're sorry. What a sap I was to think you were a pal of mine.
What's that, buddy? Oh, was you talking to me?
What? Oh, no, sorry. I guess I was thinking out loud.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, got a match?
A match? Oh, sure. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks. Okay, just hold it like that. Make a move and I'll plug you.
Gun?
Yeah,
Why,
this is a stick-up. Hold hand over your dough and make it fast, see?
My dough? That's a hot one. I'm out trying to raise money myself. We're both out of luck. I've only got $1 on me. Take it if you want it anyway. It's more than I could raise.
Don't try to kid me. Stand still while I see what you got in your pockets. A wallet. A leather case of some kind.
You'll find just $1 in that wallet.
Yeah? A buck. One measly buck. I bet you got a roll hidden in this leather case. It's heavy enough.
There's nothing in there but my emergency kit.
Yeah, well, I'll just see for myself. Say. Oh, this kit is full of skeleton keys and picklocks and stuff. What are you, anyway? Second-story worker?
I'm a locksmith and a safe repairman, if it's anything to you. Now, how about taking $1 and letting me go on my way? I'm in a hurry.
Not so fast, pal. Not so fast. Were you leveling just now when you said you was trying to raise dough?
Yeah, I've got to have $1,500 by tomorrow. What's it to you?
You'd be surprised, pal. Okay, I'm putting the gun away, but you ain't leaving yet. Me and you, we're gonna talk business. Because I got a plan that'll get us both all the dough we need. Two more beers, waiter.
Coming up.
Well, is it a deal on my proposition?
I don't know, Mike.
Sure you do. There's nothing to it. You can open locks and safes. I know where there's a house with plenty of dough in it. You and me together, we'll go get it. We'll make a team.
Burglary? I've never stolen anything in my life.
Listen, you said you needed the dough bad, didn't you? So do I, plenty bad. You said you'd do anything to get it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Then what are you hanging back for? All you gotta do is get the back door opened and the safe. In half an hour, you'll have your $1,500 and more. How else are you ever gonna get it? Answer me that.
I don't know. You're sure the money's there, Mike?
Positive. I was casing the joint. Looked in the window in time to see the old geezer put a whole roll of bills in a safe that's like a bread box. You could open it with your teeth.
All right, I'll do it. I've got to have the money. I'll go on the job with you.
joint. Everybody's hit the hay long ago. It'll be a cinch.
The luck looks easy. But I shouldn't be doing this. There must be some other way to get the money straight.
Don't be a sucker all your life. You gotta take what you want in this world. If you don't, you'll never get it. Everybody's a crook of some kind. Take it from me.
Well...
Get on. Get that door open. We gotta get inside before we're spotted.
All right. Let me take a second, I think. Yes. There. It's unlocked.
Okay, get inside. The safe's in the library. Down this way. Don't make any noise.
You're sure there's only two of them in the house?
Yeah, the old guy and his butler. Probably both of them deaf as posts. Here's the library. Come on. The safe's behind the picture on the wall.
This picture?
Yeah, that's it. I'll lift it down. There you are. That safe is just a kid's toy. Go ahead and get it open.
It won't be that easy. But I'll have it open inside half an hour.
Hurry it up. You've been 40 minutes on that thing.
It's coming now. There. It's open.
About time, too. Now let's see what's in it. Here's the cash box. Will I open it? There. Look. Dough, cash, Mazuma. What'd I tell you?
There must be thousands there.
Easy. Come on, we'll count it and divvy it up.
No, never mind. Just give me 1,500. That's all I want. You can keep the rest.
Are you kidding?
No, that's all I want. Just the 1,500 I need.
Okay, it's your funeral. Here you are. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, $1,500 bills.
$1,500?
Yeah, for just an hour's work. Easy money, huh? What do you say? We crack a couple more cribs tonight?
No, I just want to get out of here now and...
Get behind this door. I'll take care of it.
Please. Jenkins, please, help!
What'd you expect me to do? Shake his hand?
But you killed him. Yes. I'm an accessory to murder.
Cut the guff and let's get out of here. Or do you want to get caught?
No, of course not.
Let's get going. Come on, we can...
Stand still, both of you. I have a gun and I have you covered.
The butler.
If you move, I'll shoot. I can see you perfectly.
He's standing on the stairs. He's got a gun. We caught.
No, not yet. We ain't. Not by an old scarecrow with a rusty horse pistol.
Put up your hands. I'm going to call the police. You've done something to the boss.
Okay, we'll put up our hands. Right from me, Will.
Oh!
I shot him.
We gotta get out of here in a hurry. No shots. Okay, here we are. Come on in.
But why did you make me come here? Why can't I go home?
You heard me. Come on in. That's better. Now, take off your hat and stay a while.
But I can't stay, Mike. My wife, she'll be worrying. Get home to her.
You got other things than your wife to worry about, chum.
What do you mean, Mike?
I mean the cops. Or have you forgotten you're wanted for murder?
No, I haven't forgotten. I'll never be able to forget. Why did you kill him? Why?
Well, it was either kill them or go to jail. Or would you rather have gone to jail, huh?
No, but I'm all mixed up. How did I get into this anyway?
You needed dough. That's how you got into this. And you got it, so now cut out the sob stuff.
Why won't you let me go home? Why did you make me come here to your room?
You're here so you and me can have a little talk.
Kind of a talk.
Well, chum, that door and that safe open. You and me got a future together.
Oh, I won't do it. I won't.
Sure you will. And always send a little note to the cops.
They'd get you, too.
I'd be a long ways off here. You got a sick wife. You can, they say. You don't think you can pull a job and then go on as if nothing had happened. Somebody's always got to bear another.
I did it only for
a minute now and you can't get out. Wait.
I will get it off my chest.
Oh, no, you do. You see, and if I thought... Hey, get it, go!
You got me into this. I'll take that gun away from me.
I'll plug you out! Oh!
Mike. He's dead. I'm going to get away.
In a daze of horror, he made his way to the street. Thoughts which he could not control round in his head.
They'll hang me. But I had the money to make Mary. Now they'll catch me. They'll hang me. I've got to. Paid for somehow. But you can't escape if you're lucky. I need a drink. I've got to have a drink before I go crazy.
So Edward Harrison stopped the street and struggling to control his shaking as normal, he ordered a double whiskey and gulped it. His senses cleared a little. He heard the radio at the end of the bar, broadcasting a warning to the city.
Attention. The police stop for the following man. They're committed in the Buxton Park. Please make a note of the following.
Say, buddy, what's the radio off for?
Because I was...
D? And I got a night I want to hear it. So I'm going to turn it back on again.
No, you mustn't.
But I'm going to. If you try your gun right here under the bar, see what that dirty killer looked like.
I repeat, beyond height, lean and wiry, with reddish-brown hair, in Buxton Park earlier this evening. Man reported once to... Now turn you back to our regular night owl program of popular dance tunes.
Lean and wiry with reddish-brown hair, huh? Well, that ain't you. You're heavy-set and black-haired. But for a minute there, you had me going. I was positive you was the killer the way you didn't want me to hear the description. I guess you're just jumpy, huh? Well, here, have another drink. On the house.
Thanks. I need some sleep. Yeah, that's what I need. Some sleep.
How close he had come to giving himself away. Edward Harrison hurried. Mike, the police were looking for. Not Edward Harrison. And they had. Edward Harrison was safe. His own good luck, Edward was asleep. Quiet and troubled by nightmare, Mary was already preparing breakfast.
Good morning, darling. Who?
I was pretty late. I stopped at the shop. I was pretty late at little work. I forgot to watch the time.
Oh, and this morning you look terrible. I know. You're worrying about me. Really, I am.
Of course you are. I'm going to see to that.
What do you think? Dr. Smith called up last night. He wanted to talk to you. Said he had some good news for you.
Good news?
Yes, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. I don't know why. He asked for you to stop in at his office this morning.
I think I know what it is. Yes, sure, I'll go right over and see him.
Oh, but darling, you're going to eat breakfast first, aren't you?
I'll eat when I get back. I want to see the doctor first. Anyway, I'm not very hungry.
Well, all right, Edward. But please hurry back. I want to know what the doctor says, too.
Yeah, sure, Mary. I'll be right back. But everything's okay now, darling. Everything's okay.
After he left the house, Edward bought a morning paper. Big headlines told of the murders the night before, but he scarcely saw them. His eyes hurried through the story until he found what he was looking for. The news that Mike's body had been found. The butler Mike had shot had given the police Mike's description and then died before he could tell them there was anyone with Mike. So the police had listed Mike's death as a suicide or an accident and closed the case. Edward Harrison was safe. Perfectly safe.
Safe. I'm safe. Mike was wrong. Sometimes you can get away with murder and not have to pay anything if you're lucky. And I've been lucky. I've been lucky.
When Edward Harrison entered my office, he sat down beside my desk and tossed a folded newspaper into the wastebasket. His expression was that of a man who had just faced disaster and been rescued at the last moment.
Good morning, Doctor. Mary said you'd phoned. You had good news.
Yes, Mr. Harrison, I called you last night after I got in touch with Dr. Richards. I wanted to tell you that he had agreed to operate on your wife.
Oh, that's swell, Doctor. And I've got the money right here in my pocket.
Money, yes. Yes, I was also going to tell you that Dr. Richards had said not to worry about it. You could take as long as you wanted to pay it.
As long as I wanted?
Yes.
Then it wasn't necessary. I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do it.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Never mind, Doctor. I mean, I've got the money. I want to pay it. He's got to take it right away. Well, what's the matter? What are you looking at me like that for? The operation is going to save Mary's life, isn't it? You said it would. You can't go back on your word. You can, do you hear?
It's not that, Mr. Harrison. Yes, the operation would save your wife's life, but unfortunately, Dr. Richards was the only man in this country able to perform it.
Well, so what? He said he'd do it, didn't he? And I've raised the dough to pay him, so what's the hitch?
Mr. Harrison, Dr. Richards can't perform the operation now.
But you said...
He was tragically murdered last night by a burglar who broke into his home in Buxton Park. This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our little trip into the life of a man who thought he could make good come out of evil? Poor Edward Harrison. He didn't believe that crime must always be paid for by someone, did he? What became of him? Well, after his wife died a few months later, he confessed everything to the police. He didn't have anything to live for, poor fellow. But I hope his experience will teach you that crime really doesn't pay. I always say that if... Oh, you're getting off at the next stop. I'm sorry. But perhaps we'll meet again soon. I take this same train every week.
You have just heard Chapter 42 of The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. In today's story, Death Laughs Last, Philip Clark played Edward Harrison, Carl Emery played Mike, and Elizabeth Morgan played Mary Harrison. The Mysterious Traveler is written by Bob Arthur and David Cogan, and original music is played by Henry Silverne. The entire production is under the direction of Jock McGregor. And now, an important message for all of you.
This is Jock McGregor speaking. The National War Fund Drive begins tomorrow. As you probably know, this fund includes over 22 of the major war relief and service organizations. As the war progresses on all fronts, more and more people will need help. Our armed forces, American prisoners of war, our allies, and people right here at home. And by giving to the National War Fund, you will be helping. Consider just one of the many organizations that the War Fund supports, the USO. More than 3,000 service units are in operation, clubs where our servicemen and women find recreation, dances, educational activities, reading, writing, and game rooms, and religious counsel. The USO is responsible for the Travelers' Aid desks, which help servicemen make connections and find sleeping accommodations. It operates the lounges in railroad and bus terminals. USO camp shows bring American entertainment to our troops at camps and stations throughout this country and in all the combat zones. Groups will play the Jungle Circuit in the South Pacific, the Desert Circuit in North Africa, the Grass Skirt Circuit in the Hawaiian Islands, and the Foxhole Circuit in combat zones just behind the front lines. We can't measure in money the good accomplished by the USO, but we can help to continue that good work by giving our money the National War Fund. So when your community war fund or war chest representative calls on you, give and give generously.
Listen next time to a tale titled
The Man the Insects Hated.
Another tale of the Mysterious Traveler. The Mysterious Traveler is presented by WOR Mutual from the WOR studios in New York. Beginning Saturday, October 7th, The Mysterious Traveler will be heard at a new time. It will be presented every Saturday evening at 10:30 Eastern Wartime over most of these same stations. So remember the new time, 10:30 p.m., Saturdays.
This is Mutual.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.